What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Panels on Pages podcast. What you are about to see and or hear is going to be a debate of sorts that I had with a young man named Tyler from a Facebook comic book group that I participate in on the subject initially of Eric July's campaign for ISOM #1 and his whole approach to building a fan base, and kind of definitely tangents out of that into many other topics, but I hope you enjoy. Here it is.
Is it Dalibor? Dalibor.
Dalibor. Dalibor.
Dalibor. Dalibor. I had it. I had it like 10 minutes ago. Zujovic. Dalibor Zujovic. Close enough. Dalibor. Welcome to Draw and Talk. I didn't think we were actually going to do this, so I'm grateful that you're here. Thanks for taking time out of your day.
Absolutely, happy to have these conversations.
Yeah, well, let's get into this. Let's see, silly goose or nothing. You guys know if we're not having a silly goose, we're getting out. Matt says, I haven't signed up. I want to make sure you won't cancel. Matt, I promise I won't cancel. Okay, so Dalibor, before we start our discussion, tell us who you are, what you do.
I do lots of things, primarily as is relevant to your audience. I have a comic book podcast called Panels on Pages, and I also run an indie comics magazine called Catalyst. It's a digital magazine. It is free for everyone involved. It's just my time and energy is the only cost, and I just like promoting indie shit. So that's kind of my thing. I do a lot of indie people. Like I reach out to like people who create stuff and like I found out in the last 2 years that there are so many people that have been making comic books that I didn't know about, and I figured a lot of other people might not know about them. So I want to kind of spread the wealth, as it were.
100%. Yeah, I did a post on Twitter the other day, yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was like, if you got a comic book, promote it on this thread. There was like over 100 people that I'd never seen before saying, here's my comic, and you go, oh geez, like where are you guys coming from? So
exactly, yeah, it's wild. I have found people who are just starting. I have found people who have been around for literally 30 years, and somehow I didn't know about them till last year. Like it's kind of wild. The indie comic space is huge,
for sure. Well, let's give the chat let's give the chat what they want. I know what they want. Let's do this. So I've kind of given I spent the first 10 minutes of this stream giving context, but I'll start off again for those of you who aren't. I made a post saying Homie is going to make 1 million on crowdfunding comics on their own website in less than 24 hours. There's so much to learn from the Rippaverse campaign, y'all. I hope you're taking notes, and then, this is probably the most engaged post on this freaking page in many moons, because this is basically a dead group in my eyes. So then, a lot of people come in. Mason, if you're here, how you doing? A lot of people I don't know. Ben, I didn't know you. And then I was in the shower. I was telling you I was having a psoriasis fit. That's why I got so angry and I responded. But let's talk about about this. Hold on, real quick. I actually have legit questions so that I don't ramble. Okay, here we go. It's the people aren't bigots for not liking a piece of media. They're bigots for basing their entire brand off shitting on that media and anyone who likes it, and the very notions of inclusivity and representation. Why do you say that?
I just don't see how it's not true. I think that if you and we're talking about the royal you, if a certain person, in this case, what is it, Eric something, the guy who created that campaign, the reason that he is big is because he has spent the last however many years building up a fan base of people who are anti-SJW and hate the mainstream and all the other fucking buzzwords that get people riled up. I mean, he has literally spent years on YouTube building up a fan base of people who just want to be angry at shit because it doesn't go exactly the way they want and it doesn't cater to them anymore. And
but does that make them but does that make them though, for example, let's say I'm a big fan of let's just go Superboy. Let's say I'm a big fan of Superboy. Been reading Superboy forever, and then they have John Kent, and then they make him gay, and now he's doing like all this gay shit, and he's got a boyfriend.
I mean, okay.
But like I'm just saying, and then I go, I don't really relate to this character anymore. So I think I'm just gonna bounce and leave and not read it anymore.
Reasonable. That's perfectly reasonable, and that's why I said people aren't bigots for not liking something. If something doesn't speak to you, you aren't a bigot for not liking it. I mean, that's like people saying, "Oh, if you don't date a certain ethnicity, that you're somehow racist." No, if you are not attracted to someone, if you do not like a piece of media, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to read it.
Fair.
Like, everybody that lost their mind over Kamala Khan and Ms. Marvel and being all this wokeness and all this. You don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Now, the problem comes in when you come in and say, oh, this is ruining comic books, this is ruining the MCU. Like, the just notion of these characters existing is somehow degrading the quality of the entire medium. And that's where the bigotry comes in. If you come in and say, I think that the concept of Superman is ruined because John Kent is gay or bi or whatever he is, you're a bigot.
Because you say that because he's gay. But would you say though it's like, going back to my point though, so I don't read, so I stop reading Superboy. I'm like, okay, he's gay.
Right.
So I go read Robin. And now Tim Drake is gay, and I'm like, okay. And then I go read Batman. Now Bruce Wayne is being like, he's potentially bi. I'm like, okay. And then everyone is just like, it's just like, okay, everyone's getting gay. And as soon as at some point I go, and when I say I, it's not me, but I'm just gonna say I. Sure. Like, I go, oh my gosh, I cannot find anything that I like anymore. And then something that was so big in my life, these comic books, they've gone to crap. They've gone to crap. That's what they're saying. They've gone to crap, and it's because of all of this wokeness. And then the sales are all going down. And so you go, okay, crap. I need to find. It's either I stop reading comics or I find alternative means. And then you have someone like Eric July, or even people in Comicsgate going, hey, we also don't identify with anything that Marvel and DC are doing, but come with us, we will house you. Like,
thing? No, I understand what you're saying, and it's one thing, and this is a possibility that exists, and you can. Like I said, I support indie comics. Like, and the concept of indie comics is not new. It's not something like the alternative to the big three, because I kind of feel Image is a third in that big category. It is the indie space, and there's tons of it. There just is. Like you just said on your post, hundreds of people that you never heard of before. The options are there. It's one thing to go seek options. If you say, you know what, Batman's not really hitting for me anymore, I'm gonna go read something else, and whatever the reason is, cool. Now, if you say, I don't like the fact that they made Batman bi, and then you take that and you turn that into a YouTube channel and you start shitting on the fact, oh, Batman is bi and that's ruined Batman, and Batman used to be the strong male, straight, whatever, but now that they made him bi, it's like, that's bigotry.
Is it though?
Yes. That's the definition of bigotry. If you don't like something because of that specific characteristic, that's bigotry. If you don't like someone because they're black, that's bigotry. If you don't like someone because they're Asian, that's bigotry.
But you can say though, like, hey, I don't like that they did this. Like, I can say, like, hey, I don't like
that they did this, but to base your entire platform on that hatred, that's
no fair. And if it was, I think I would agree with you if it was just a one-time thing. But when it's happening so often, when you're seeing Marvel and DC constantly tokenizing these characters, like when John Kent became Superman and he was gay, what was the story? What was the headline? No one's talking about the story. They're talking about that he's gay. When Tim Drake,
sure. And as a business, you make a business decision to do a business thing to make money. Yeah, that's the business end of it. But the storytelling aspect is the immigration. The story is the immigration. The story is the subjugation of the. Oh my goodness, I forget the name of the friggin' island.
But why? But my guess is, why is it important though? Like, I guess, why is it important that they're like, hey, now Batman's bisexual, and you go, what purpose does that serve with the story?
What purpose does it serve for him to be straight? What purpose does it serve for him to be married? What purpose?
That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't have to be a focus, but it is all this focus of like, our characters are gay now. Our characters are this. Our characters, like,
I think it just seems that way because we've had 80 years of Batman being straight and chasing after women. So now if he's suddenly like, maybe I want some dick in my life, it's now we're like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? Why weren't we like, why is he chasing pussy? Literally. Why weren't we mad about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally, like, I'm a fan of well-developed characters. Like, I would happily read a Clark Kent Superman story as much as I would read a Lois Lane story, because Lois Lane is a developed character over many, many decades, and she's a strong character. I'm happy to read that. But like, I don't want to read it. What is it, Bruno, that Tim Drake's boyfriend? I don't fucking know that character. Like, I don't give a shit about that character.
But how come?
At the same time, I don't give a shit about what is it, Damien's little girlfriend. I don't give a fuck about her either. I don't I turned the page and Damien's kissing this girl, and I was like, what the fuck?
Who is this? But I think also it's the fact that they're doing this with established characters. Why not make a new gay character?
But they did create a new character.
But why?
Jonathan Kent is a new character.
No. But like, let's use the Tim Drake for example. Like, okay. Why is it important that Tim Drake?
Arguably, Tim Drake has been coded gay for a long time, and I personally didn't see it, but I think to the people that it was speaking to,
I don't think anyone saw it.
Well, no, but also at the same time, like, you may not see it if you're not from that perspective, you may not see it. Like, you may not understand it. I read Kate Pride for fucking 20 years, 30 years. And I never once in my life thought, maybe Kate's gay. Never once. I start listening to, Explain the X-Men, which is a fantastic podcast. And they go super deep. Like, I'm honestly, I'm a surface level guy. I hated book reports. You know what I mean? Like, finding the theme of a fucking story. I hate that shit. Like, I can't, like, I take what I get from it. And like, I didn't know why I loved the X-Men until I listened to this podcast, and they like introduced me to the term found family. And I was like, oh shit, that's exactly it. Like, I just never thought about it that deep. And they're like, oh, here's all these examples where Chris Claremont clearly was insinuating that Kate Pride was gay. And I'm like, yo,
but was he though? Because I want to hear it from Chris Claremont.
He was, but he couldn't take it there because of the era, right? The era, like, they wouldn't let him do it. And he has said in many, many interviews, and he was on their show specifically and said, I wanted to do it here and they wouldn't let me. I wanted to do it here and they wouldn't let me. So it's now is the time, because now the base is there. It's more acceptable in the society, and just now is the time.
Fair.
And I think certain characters can absolutely be treated poorly when this happens. I think Kate Pride was just destroyed when they did that. Like, I don't know if you read X-Men, but like, they basically, long story short, in my perspective, she sexually assaulted a woman, and no one fucking talked about it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Mm-hmm. Like, that action for me really like brought her down as a character, and like the characterization that they were giving her. Not the fact that she was gay. I don't give a fuck if she's gay, but like the fact that she was just getting a tattoo and then just kisses her tattoo artist. I'm like, whoa. Just like, no build up. That was, and then they literally haven't touched it since. So now it's like, that was, to me, ultimate tokenization. Like, that was just like, that was the what's his face, always forget his goddamn name. The guy who played Mr. Fantastic in Multiverse Madness. That's what that was. Here, have it. You've been fucking asking for it for years. Have it, and we're not gonna fucking talk about it again.
Fair. At the same time, though, with all of these characters established, it's also kind of like a it's not just like these creators, these characters being changes. You're having creators in these industries actively demonizing their audiences. The famous Kelly Sue DeConnick quote: "If you don't like my politics, don't write my book. Don't read my book." And it's like, okay, frick. Well, I'm not gonna. It's like flip. Like, why would you bring that up? You have Vidya Allah saying, "Hey everyone, Marvel's looking for new editors. White men, don't need to apply." And so you're seeing
they got 14 of those. What the fuck else why do they need?
But that's straight up racism. That's racism.
It's not.
How is that? It's saying you can't do something because of you. It's saying racism is saying is treating someone differently based off of the color of their skin.
Sure, it's excluding someone based solely on their lack of skin or their skin color or specific quality or whatever.
So she's saying white people, you don't need to apply. That's right, racism.
Because I have enough of those. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got 14
but that's
white
racism.
Dudes. Why do I need another white dude voice?
Because they might be better. They might be better at the job. They might be better at the job.
They can't be because I'm trying to diversify my offering.
That's racism.
Different voices. It's not.
That's racist. To say if I were to go on to indie,
job you want to fill a job that will bring a diverse voice to your characters and your books. You can't hire the same shit you've had because clearly that hasn't been sufficient.
So now we're going to the conversation. Then what's more important than the diversity that's happening in these comics or the sales? Because the sales aren't showing that these comics are doing well.
If you look at to you and me, neither. Well, I mean, you more than me because you're half Asian. So, like, to you, it may matter, but to me, it doesn't. I'm just a white dude. Like diversity doesn't matter. And Marvel sales, I don't give a shit about their sales.
But you have people who do care about these characters, and when they're sitting, it's like, why am I getting a terrible comic that keeps pandering and saying I'm gay when the comic was selling just fine when they wasn't even doing that. And you have these, and you're alienating these fan bases, and then the fan base is going.
Arguably, there was no Tim Drake comic until he was gay, and now he's getting his own solo title. So
no, there was he had his own solo series.
Nope. I mean, like before the New 52, sure.
Yeah, he had like Red Robin.
But that was, and believe me, I am Team Red Robin forever. I love that suit. I love that fucking era. Him being the best fucking detective. That's my shit. I love Tim Drake's characterization throughout that whole era.
So can a white writer not write a black character?
I don't get to make that decision.
But that's what that person.
And I don't necessarily even think that that's a decision that could be made. Like, I'm writing.
It sounds like if Vidal is saying that if you're white, I don't want you to work at Marvel because you're white.
As an editor. Sure, if they were hiring editors, yeah, because they.
But you can't. But that is like legally, you cannot say something like that. Like if I don't know what you do for a job, but I'm a manager, and if I need to hire someone, and I go on Indeed, if I were to ask them what is your race, I am immediately getting there's a lawsuit. I can't even ask a woman if she's pregnant or if she's got like I can't ask that to a guy as well, like
because you can't discriminate. From your business perspective, that's a tweet. Like that's a.
But you're right. But from a business perspective, you're absolutely. But does Vidai Allah, who has like 6 or 7 Marvel series, does she represent the company? And she's saying this online to Marvel fans, saying, "Hey, if you're white, we don't need you."
I don't know if she's in a position of power like that to represent the company that way. If Marvel or Disney has not acted against her, then I would assume, just based on that data, that she does speak for them, or speak at least for the editorial staff of Marvel.
And I'm not even saying that as a business, as that like it's her position at the job. I'm just saying she works at Marvel, she writes comics, and she's telling fans, if you're white, get lost. We don't want you.
I mean, that's not what she said. Like, do you see? Like, that's the slippery slope right there. Turning a character gay or making a main character black doesn't mean everybody else get the fuck out. We only want these people to read our books. No, the problem is that the white male audience, people much like myself, have had 100 years of media catered to us. We've been pandered to the longest out of everyone. Like, there has been no bigger pandering than the white straight male in all of media. Because what did we have in the 90s? White straight male action heroes for fucking days. And now we have a diversity. I actually think the late 90s, early 2000s gave us a lot more diversity, and then something fucking happened in Hollywood, and all of a sudden there was a bunch of white dudes again. Like, a bunch of the really cool fucking good actors disappeared in action, and I still don't understand. Like, anyway, my point is, people that look like me have been pandered to the most in media, and now when black people, gay people, every other categorization has had to pull what little they can out of the characters they see to like see themselves in it. Like, a black kid from the Bronx has to be like, all right, like, Peter Parker's close enough. Like, he's in Queens. He's a nerdy kid like me. I'm gonna associate with that. But then when Miles showed up, there's just no comparing to that. That just feels different. Like, I am at best. I'm from Bosnia, so I'm even thinking about it now. I'm like, I don't even want to say raised Muslim, because like, I'm like Muslim adjacent at fucking best, right? I like, Bosnian Muslim is not like traditional Muslim, and I'm not even that. Like, I wasn't even raised in that. Like, it was the least strict fucking raising you could be in religious terms. But like, I watched Ms. Marvel, and that little part of me that is like almost non-factor of my personality felt good to see a positive representation of that culture. But whatever little part of my personality and my spirit it is, it felt good to see it, because in every other fucking permutation of media, we're terrorists. And Balkan people, even like Bosnians, have been chasing fucking Liam Neeson around for 14 fucking Taken movies. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't, like, some people don't get to see positive representation for themselves, and that feels different. Like, when Miles showed up in comics, that felt different for a lot of people, I'm sure. The problem is that the people who have been catered to for the majority of media's existence have now been put in that same position of, okay, so, you know, we've got a black Spider-Man. What can I see of myself in that character to relate? That's why when was it Turning Red came out, a bunch of white people were like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't associate with it. Like, I'm not Asian. I'm not a girl. I didn't go through puberty like a girl. But there's a bunch of mom shit and grandma shit in there. That hit to the core. You know what I mean? Like, that's the relationship.
Do you relate to do you relate to an old woman?
No, but just like the relationship with the grandmother.
Fair.
Like, I was raised with my grandmother. Like, I have a lot of, like, there's a lot of emotional stuff with my mother. You know, like that's the stuff I related to in that film. Like, I will never know what it's like to be a young woman, but like, I do know what it's like having to deal with your mom being overbearing. I do know what it's like having to live up to these standards of your family.
Okay, but you have someone like Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and I'm a big Batman fan. So when people touch the Batman universe, that's when I go, and I'm someone who's very okay with, you know, a legacy character. If Peter Parker died and Miles Morales, like, I'm going to be the one who takes it over. I'm fine with there being a butt ton of Robins and then moving the mantle. I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with Falcon taking over Captain America's spot in the MCU because Steve Rogers is gone. But there is this feeling, in gay comics, LGBTQ. It's a lot of letters. I'm just gonna go Lugabitica. There is a lot of comics out there that sell like crazy with LGBTQ themes, with Lugabitica themes,
and they're written for them, and they're honestly and accurately represented, and that's why they sell well.
and yet it's not happening well in DC and Marvel because that isn't their core audience. They should have, like, what the fans are really saying is, hey, don't make Batman gay. Bring us a new Robin who we don't know, who we have no attachments with. Make him gay, but don't make his gayness like super part of the story. Just like, yeah, he's gay. He's gay, and yeah, he goes out with his boyfriend, but he's doing Robin shit. And the problem is you're getting like these really poorly written comics. You know, you have Jane Foster Thor. She's fighting a bad guy in the comics, and the bad guy is a female, and the female villain goes, "Oh snaps, you're a female Thor." Well, that must have, and then she goes on a feminist rant. Oh my gosh, like this must have been really hard for you to get respect as a woman. So I could use the jail time, and then that's how Jane Foster's Thor beats the villain. Is the villain goes, "You're a woman, so you must have like really fought hard for this feminist stuff. So I'm gonna quit." And it's like that's poor writing. You have American Chavez going, "Holy menstrual cycle, what are you doing?" Like no one talks like this. So it's like not only is it pandering, it's poorly written comics. No one talks like that.
I say "holy dick" all the time.
No one says "holy menstrual cycle."
Why you are not a woman, so you don't know.
I asked my wife, "Have you ever heard holy menstrual cycle?" I could go on the street and ask 20 women and go, "Have you ever said holy menstrual cycle?" No one talks
but
it.
They probably do have little sayings that relate to them that we wouldn't understand.
And yeah, but once again, we're looking as well at the sales. You have a core audience base. And instead of catering to them and making a new one, you're just replacing the shit that you're just replacing your audience and saying, "Hey, listen, we know that you guys like this stuff. Instead of continuing to make the stuff that you like, and we'll make new stuff, new audience, we're going to turn all your stuff into stuff that you don't like so that we can cater to this other audience. And if you don't like what we're doing, you're racist or a bigot because you don't like that's what you're saying. You're saying if I go, I don't like that all the whole Bat family's gay. I hate that shit. Does that make me a bigot to say I hate that?
If you say that and you say I hate that and you go on and you read other shit because you hate that shit, cool. That's okay. You don't like that shit. You don't want to read that shit. Cool. You want to read an alternative Batman who's straight, as far as I can tell. Ace Blade by my buddy Danny J. Quick. That's
But you're missing the problem is that these fans have emotional attachments to these characters. And so when you have someone like Batman, I have a friend and he has bought Spider-Man every single week since he was 13. So I'm not getting like, so like if I had that, if I did the same thing with
for himself.
If I did the same thing with Batman and all of a sudden the Batman that I knew is completely different, I'm going to go what the F? Like, this sucks. And if it happens enough times, well, now I start a YouTube channel, and is the problem for you that if I start a YouTube channel and I go, "Hey, my name's Tyler, I used to like Batman, now he's gay, that really bothers me. Look at the sales suck. Does that make me the bigot?"
Bother you?
What? Because it's evidence to show that it was a bad move.
But why does that bother you? If it's a bad move, like,
because it continues to happen.
We just saw with Morbius, people will vote with their wallet. If it is bad enough a move, i.e. Morbius, it will flop. It will flop poorly, and they will stop making it.
That's not true though, because we see in comics time and time again these comics are still coming out.
So then they're doing based on their business needs and expectations well enough. Your opinion, my opinion, anyone else's opinion of the number of sales, the number of dollars they bring in are irrelevant. What I think is a successful film doesn't matter if Disney doesn't think it's successful.
Fair. But does me commentating on it saying they suck, does that make me a racist or a bigot?
If the only reason you're saying they suck is the fact that they are gay or bi or whatever.
But you can say this character's gay and the writing sucks. That's why the sales. So if I add that caveat in the story and the writing is terrible, the art is terrible.
Why? Yeah, but look, if the entirety of the comic book is terrible, then I understand. Like if the writing and the art sucks, like believe me, I am an X-Men fan through and through. There have been some fucking runs where I really got to get through it with the fucking artwork. But like I love X-Men, so I will fucking read it. And that's, I guess, my response to that. If you truly love Batman, if you are a Batman fan and you love stories about Batman, specifically Batman, the Bat family, why would that one little change bother you so much?
It's not just that.
I understand if, all of a sudden every story is about him being bi or whatever. I understand that because that was genuinely my concern with John Kent. I was like, oh shit, he's going to be bi and they're going to fucking just every story is going to be bi. But like they kissed and literally the next moment he's like, oh shit, I hear some shit. I got to go. And then because it wasn't, I guess, gay enough, people were like, oh my God, he gave up his fucking cape. That's the worst thing you could do. Like, what the fuck are you talking?
But it's not just the kiss. It's not just the kiss. It's also then the next issue's cover is him fighting for climate change. Like that, like
you don't think climate change is a dangerous enough fucking problem that we should be dealing with?
Not in the world of Superman. Not in the world of Superman. Like these are comics. They're supposed to be escapism.
The Twin Towers still fell in the DC universe.
So
they deal with shit that we deal with. Comic books are used to deal with our reality through the lens of superheroes.
But by doing that, you alienate. By doing that though, because like they'll say if you you have that Robert Kirkman comic and the little girl is just like, I believe in climate change. And if you don't believe in climate change, you're a piece of shit. And it's like if I don't believe in climate change, then I just had my favorite comic book writer call me a piece of shit.
That's a thing you should think about then.
Is it though?
Yeah, because it's scientifically proven to be factual. 300 people just died in Spain because it's too fucking hot.
Once again, though, I'm not talking about real world shit. I'm talking about comics.
But that's the thing. Comics are used as a way to deal with real world shit through the lens of superheroes.
But it's through one side's lens. One side's lens. What? It's through one person's lens. One side of the argument's lens. Is,
certain shit does not have an other side of the argument.
That's not true.
Yeah, because climate change is a real thing. There is no counter argument to that. That's not a one side or the other. That is a factual fact of our existence. So there's no debate.
But
the only thing is, you should be having is how fast we can fix it.
You say that though. That there are some things, but everything has two sides of an argument. You had that guy, that black man who was shot 2 days ago, Treacle. I
have not heard about that, but that is
Treacle, and I'm someone who was like, there are people who are saying we need justice for Treacle, and I'm like, that guy got what he deserved. But in the comics, you'll have people. The lens will be Treacle was the good guy, and I'll go, well, flip. I don't think he was, and now there's two. Now I'm not getting too.
Sure. Okay. What I'm saying is, without specifics, I can't speak on that specific story.
Fair.
But a little bit more generalized, Black Lives Matter. That is a period, end of sentence, factual statement. And the
statement, but there are people who say the statement's true. Of course, Black Lives Matter. The group that the actual organization Black Lives Matter, you'll have people say absolutely not.
Sure, but but when people say that, they're not talking about this group is cool.
No one in America or the world who like no one. If you ask any person in America and you go, do you think Black Lives Matter? Do you think the life of an African American person or someone dark skinned matters? I'm pretty sure that 99% of people will go, oh yeah, absolutely, that's not a problem.
You're wrong. You're wrong because we just had 4 years of people proudly waving flags that say, no, we don't think so. There are people right now organizing rallies and shit that don't think so.
That say what? That all lives matter?
not even just that. That's the least of it at this point. There are people flat out just saying Black lives do not matter.
Are they talking about the organization?
Nope.
Well, I'd have to do some research on that myself.
And that's the thing. Like, I understand, and this is where my mistake, where I said when I identified you as white, I think, and I could be wrong on this, but like, I think you could pass as white, and I believe that it's possible that you may have a skewed perspective on racism. But that's my opinion.
Fair,
I don't
that's fair
for it to be a fact. But I'm just saying, I couldn't immediately identify you as half Asian.
But why does it matter though? Why that's the thing? Like, why does it matter?
One of my best friends is half Mexican. She passes white. She hears the worst shit about Mexican people until she starts identifying herself as Mexican. The worst shit. Because when people think that group isn't around, we'll say all the kinds of worse shit.
Bro, Tyler passes as Hispanic. Yeah, everyone thinks I'm Hispanic.
I genuinely couldn't guess, but like,
no,
I couldn't. I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to go with, but I was wrong. And
do you think that white people can't experience racism then?
White people cannot experience racism, not racism as we've defined it now.
You don't think so? You don't think that currently the cops in Chicago are looking for 4 black women who beat up their Uber driver saying, "I hate you because you're white." That's not racism.
But what do we know from that story? Like you said, that's
what do you know from the story? There's a dash cam with 4 black women beating up their Uber driver saying, "We hate you because you're black." Sorry, we hate you because you're white.
Okay.
Does that count as racism?
No, it counts as bigotry, prejudice. As I said,
I'm beating the definition of racism: prejudice, discrimination directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a racial group.
And this is the problem that we have currently. It took me a long time to explain this to my cousin as well. The definition of a word.
Are you a white guy who's going to tell an Asian guy a definition? I love that one. I thought that I'd point that.
I don't understand what that.
Keep going. What did you have to learn about racism?
Was that like a spelling bee joke? I don't.
No.
No.
I have this joke that all problems come from white women. Like at the root of all problems.
Yeah, I can see that.
White women are behind it all.
Yeah, I can see that. No,
okay. All right, I'm ready though. Why is that what those 4 women did? Me beating the shit out of a white woman. Go, I hate you because you're white. How is that not racism?
That's assault. It's hateful, certainly, but it's not racism, because racism, as we have currently culturally defined it, is institutionalized racism.
What's institutionalized racism?
If I gotta explain institutionalized
no, you can only have. There's only institutionalized racism. That's it. There is only institutionalized.
The term racism in current culture is shorthand for institutionalized racism. That says
who? I'm on Oxford Dictionary. The Oxford Dictionary.
I'm not talking about what the fucking book says. Just like, and I guarantee you within, I'd say 5 to 10 years, this will be added to that definition, because literally no longer just means literally. It also means figuratively in the Oxford Dictionary. What I'm saying is the culture decided that this word means something other than the original textbook definition.
So what you're saying is I could beat up a black woman.
No, because that's still assault and it's hate.
I could beat up a black woman and say I hate you because you're a black woman, and I'm okay because I'm not. That's not racism, because it wasn't institutionalized. It was just assault.
Personally, I mean, like, this is an individual thing.
So racism is a truth that everyone gets to figure out for themselves what racism is for themselves.
No.
So
no, dude. Again, we're talking about 2 different things at the same time. The term racism, which is how it's widely culturally accepted right now,
discriminating someone based off the color of their skin.
From a position of power, yes. So if you beat up a black woman, yeah.
Why? I'm Asian.
That's misogynist, and it's it's hateful, and it's
Why is it misogynist? We're equal. We're equal. Why is it a position? Why do I have a position of power just because I'm a man? We're equal.
Because that's the end of the sentence. Because power, when
definitely built better. I'm definitely, my body's built to win.
Right there, a literal position of actual physical power.
Women are weak because of their bodies. Women are weaker, but low because of their bodies.
You're trying. But like, do you see that you're trying to like get me in a gotcha? But you're not.
I did. You think racism is? I don't think. I tried to have the same argument you're having for a long fucking time. And then
guess what? Society, culture decided that you can't be racist if you do not have power over people.
So that when 4 black women who have power over a white woman physically assaulting her, they're the ones in power and she's helpless. That's not racism, because institutionally those black women, they're having their problems.
I don't know the situation that you're referring to, so I can't speak on that situation.
The problem is that we're seeing this. Nothing is right. This is why we're having problems right now. Society and
there's a lot of simple people out here, and there's no simple answer.
There are simple ansers. Racism is discriminating someone based off the color of their skin. If I'm not invited, if you have been in power and the literal face of power for the entirety of existence. But I'm Asian, so right. I'm not. So,
but you're not exactly.
So if I beat up a black,
you can't be racist against me.
I can't.
You can hate me because I'm white, but you can't be racist against me.
Is that permission?
Because I can. Please try. Because I can walk into a room and be treated better than you can.
You think so?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Guaranteed. Can I give you an example?
Have you seen my haircut?
What does that mean?
You seen how good I look? You see this haircut? It's fresh.
Clean. It's clean. I'm not going to argue with that. That's different. My point is I got pulled over. I was driving. Okay. Uh-huh. I was the one driving the car, speeding, admittedly. My friend was asleep in the passenger seat. He got put in the back of the squad car while I did not.
Is that society's racism or one man's racism?
What is the difference? He was brown.
Yeah, so we're gonna put down society or one bad cop. Also, if you are white and in a position of power, is it racist for you to educate me on what racism is?
I'm not trying to educate you. I'm just explaining to you what the current cultural definition of the term
is. It racist though because you're in a position of power and you think therefore I must educate the brown man because his definition is wrong. Is that I guess going back to going what that happened in Nigeria. Let me tell you, I saw racism in Africa, black on black, all day, every day. Is that racism? Black on black.
You just said black on black. What does that mean?
Is that racist? Can you hate someone? Can black people be anything? Can black people be?
Didn't say anything.
Can black people be racist against blacks? Can Asians be racist against Asians? Can Koreans?
There are first of all, I'm sure you know about this. I know about this, so I'm sure you know about this. There are tons of Asian cultures that hate other Asian cultures.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. We don't like Japanese people, but I consume all their media, and I love Japanese people.
But I'm not making this up.
Oh, I agreed with you. I just stated
factual. This is factual, but it's not up to me to decide if that's racist.
But that's a problem. That's why that's a problem with comic books right now. Is that nothing?
If I would to speculate, in Japan, Japanese people discriminating against Vietnamese people, yeah, that's probably racism.
What about Japanese people discriminating against black people?
In Japan, yeah.
So one more time before we move on. It is not racism. It is not racism if 4 black women beat up.
I don't know the context or the situation of that what that is.
I could pull up the video, and it's just I could pull up the video of the Uber driver going thanks, and then the 4 black women pull. I hate you because you're white. I hate you because you're white.
So what you're saying is that edited video is what you're choosing to believe.
It's a dash cam video.
Mm-hmm. But you said it starts with him saying thank you.
The white lady, thank you, and then
thank you. So at the end of the ride?
Yeah, they pulled over. They go, thank you.
The point is, there is a whole ride ahead of that we don't know what happened. Could have been a 30-foot ride. It could have been a 30-minute
is
ride.
it possible? Okay, is it what? Let's say the white lady was racist to the black ladies. Fair, that's racism. And then the black ladies then also hitting the white lady and then also saying we don't like if the white lady. Okay, so if the white lady says I don't like you because you're black, that's racism. But if the black person says, well, I don't like you because you're white, that's not racism.
Not as I see it.
So they're both racism. It's both racism.
No. I'm saying I'm not as I see it. I do not see that as racism.
So, okay.
I do not believe that black people in America could be racist against white people.
Wow. Okay. Let's move.
But that's my opinion.
Okay. It's okay to be wrong, by the way. It's okay to be wrong.
I said earlier, I'm perfectly happy to be wrong, but I have yet to be proven wrong on that statement.
Don't worry. Don't worry. You're very wrong.
Okay.
Okay. I think another reason why people are just all right. Okay. I think another you have people. So you have people who don't agree with what you're saying, and then they go, you know what? I'm not happy with what Marvel and DC are doing. All these characters gay. The stories suck. I'm gonna find alternative.
The story suck.
Just poor writing.
Okay. So if that's the reason you're leaving, sure. But if the story sucked because they're gay, that's different.
Can I say the story sucked because it was just a feminist rant the whole time, and therefore the story sucked? I didn't enjoy the story because it was just a feminist rant. I'm talking about the Jane Foster Thor story. If I say
I read an entire run, and I genuinely cannot remember what you're talking about.
I mean, I could pull it up. But I'm just saying, if I say I don't like this book because all it is a feminist rant, and therefore I don't like it, does that make it? And the story sucked because of it. The story sucked because of it. That makes you a bigot.
So why do you hate feminist rants?
Because it doesn't make good. Because in that particular instance, it didn't make good storytelling.
Okay, so in that one issue, sure.
But let's say it happens in multiple. Let's say it happens though in multiple, and you go, gosh, like this. I'm just getting pandered, feminist storytelling all day. And I go, you know what? I'm going to look for an alternative. And then you have people like the Rippaverse and going, you know what? I don't like that stuff too. I'm going to make my own comic and we're not going to have any of that. And then you go, oh, yes, absolutely. Is it fair to call?
So we can absolutely come back to him because I'll give you this. I actually followed him for a while because I pride myself on listening to everybody as long as they have something to say. Problem is, he had nothing to say. He just kept regurgitating the same, oh, fucking feminism, oh, fucking gay agenda, constantly just regurgitating the same fucking arguments. And
yeah, those are his arguments.
Those are his only arguments.
Yeah, but
he's not talking about writing. He didn't he bought a comic book. He read it. He didn't like it. And then made a whole piece of media, several pieces of media about it, and then bought the next issue. I thought it was shit. But no, he's not making a point to make a point. He's just making a point to rile up an audience so that people will come back and watch it.
But have you heard of do you know the channel Diversity in Comics? Comics Matter, your boy Zach. He's the guy who basically started Comicsgate.
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to spend, I think, a year or two every single day reading 2 or 3 new comics and going, look at all of this pandering. It wasn't. The point is, it's not happening just 1 or 2 times here and there. It's going, hey, I'm picking up 5 to 10 comics every single week, and every single one of them I buy has this stuff. This is getting really annoying. I want to go somewhere else. The storytelling's bad.
But do you know the problem with that whole argument He bought those books for a year.
Yeah, he is a content creator.
So money is more important than the actual fucking point you're trying to make. No. If you don't like it, stop fucking reading it. Period. That's it. If you do not like a comic book, nothing forces you to keep reading it. If you say, this is the same thing that happened, and this, I'll do a little tangent here. This is the same thing that happened with Star Trek Discovery. Countless old school, real Trek fans just shit on it. Season 1, they were like, it's getting canceled. It's entirely too woke. Yet they watched every single episode.
The content creators.
They watched every single episode. They kept making media. When the second season came out, they were like, it's even more woke this season. It'll be canceled for sure. They just kept making more hateful content.
Why is it considered hateful?
Because it gets clicks and people love outrage.
But why is it considered hateful though? Because
it's literally content about hating on some shit. It's not about anything else.
But what you see as hate content, so one could see as comfort community content. Finally, there's someone who agrees with what I'm saying, what I believe, and oh my gosh, there's this community of other people who are also just as sad and upset. This is great.
But none of them actually believe that, and none of them actually most people that watch Rippa, I don't know his fucking name. Eric July. Most people that watch him don't read those comics. They're just there to be outraged.
But they're pulling your advice. Like, why would I read this comic?
They didn't read any of it.
But they don't need to. They don't need to read the comic. Eric's gonna read it for them.
Mm-hmm. So he's gonna read it through his lens, which he's already biased, and that means anything he says is already coming from a biased perspective. So how can you trust?
But that happens with everyone. That happens with everyone, though. I mean, imagine if I was a diehard subscriber onto yours. I would think that racism isn't discrimination against someone based off the color of their skin. I would use your definition. I could say that's bias. That's someone say, well, you're biased because you're only looking through your personal.
That's the only source of media, which in people who live by outrage culture, they typically have just a few sources of media that just reinforces their own bullshit beliefs.
But here's the thing. This is the problem: is it reinforces their bullshit beliefs, and when you say it reinforces
this isn't unique to the anti-SJW crowd. This is also the SJW crowd. Anybody who's like, "Fuck you if you're white."
I know.
I understand it, so fuck you. Fuck them too. Like, I don't. Like,
I agree with you. I have a series on my YouTube channel called "The Boy Who Cried Woke." If they go,
I watched one of those recently.
Yeah, when someone goes, "Oh my gosh, this is so woke," I go, "No, it wasn't. Calm down."
Because more often than not, it's not.
Depends. It depends on It depends on the lens.
But also, to go back to your Batman example, right? Batman supposedly maybe turning bi. If you had a friend for 30 years and you knew them to be straight and they were suddenly bi, would you be like, whoa, I'm not here for that, I'm out?
Yeah, I would definitely be like shocked. I'd be shocked.
Sure.
I'd be shocked. I think I'd be shocked, and then I'd be like, okay, now if I don't agree with their particular lifestyle though, then I might go, listen, like, I'm okay with you living your lifestyle, but don't try to bring that stuff into my own home or to my kids. And then that I could see myself possibly doing that, depending on like what they're doing and stuff.
The fact that you just described a sexual orientation as a lifestyle is a little telling.
No, because you can be gay, but then there's like a subculture, like a lifestyle of being gay that you can see.
Well, that's not what I was talking about. I'm just saying your friend 30 years has not changed their behavior in any way, and they're like, hey, just want to let you know, I've been doing some soul searching, and I'm bi. I just want to let you know that because you're my best friend.
I'd be like, are they married to a woman and then they're bi, and then they say they're bi? At that point, I want them to suck a dick. I want proof that they're bi. That was just a joke.
What the fuck?
That was a joke, by the way. Because I could say I'm bi, but I just so happen to marry a woman, and I would want my friends to go, Tyler.
But I need you to understand that with jokes like that, you are feeding into
I don't
a
care.
negative stereotype that is in that community.
But also, I treat everyone equally. I'll make a joke about a straight person, just like I'll make a joke about a Lugubitska person.
Sure,
Like,
but do you understand that one is differently impactful than the other?
Listen, no. If you want to be treated equal, I'll treat you equal. I'll make fun of you.
They're literally threatening to repeal equal marriage. Do you understand that kind of joke
that sounds like
different in that community than it does if you make fun of a straight person?
That sounds like a rumor, and if it does happen, it'd be curious as to
literally the one justice whose wife planned January 6th. He flat out said it. He flat out said, "Here is all this other shit we're gonna come after next, motherfuckers." And one of those was absolutely
But is it
marriage?
With that being said, though, I make fun of everyone. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what your sexual orientation is.
I just need you to understand, as a person who makes fun of everyone, believe me, I do too, but you need to understand that it hits different in a different situation. Like, you could make fat jokes at me. I have dealt with my bullshit regarding my weight for the most part, and I will almost certainly brush it off. It's very unlikely that I would ever be affected by a fat joke. Somebody who has not dealt with their body image issues, that's going to hit differently. Could be the same joke.
Should I cater my speech to that person? Let's say I have you in the room and another fat person. You're not fat, but I have a fat person in the room. I say the same joke. Should I be worried about offending them, not you?
If I have said,
should I cater my speech to that person?
If you understand that they are offended by those things, then yeah, I would think as a kind person you should.
Gotcha. Tyler trying to get BJs. I'm not. I'm not. My wife just walked past, like, what the heck? I guess my biggest thing that I've not liked about what this whole that's come out with the whole Rippaverse is I'm hating all that. I'm not like there has been a lot of racism happening against Eric July from other African Americans, but from other African Americans. That's not possible?
I don't think it's possible necessarily, but again, that's not
calling someone an Uncle Tom.
Well, that term means specific things in the African American culture. So if that is what they believe, that is what they believe. That's not like you don't get to decide that that's racist. If they make a point, if they say this is what I believe this motherfucker to be, like I watched his video on a fucking private tab because I don't want him suggested at all. But I watched his video regarding his response to Black Sands, and quite honestly, I have some opinions about Black Sands as well. Just kind of like the energy is not really my thing. Like his whole energy, Manuel's a good dude, but I just don't like his whole energy personally.
He doesn't make comics for you. He only makes comics for black people.
Well, that's not even about the comics. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about his personality. The way
he's kind of antagonistic.
He's kind of like every like he's in a really good place. Like, I mean, he just signed a fucking deal with Mark Cuban and fucking Kevin Hart. Like, he's doing all right. So like for him,
he had to get that white people money
to still be like, am
I wrong?
I mean, he's got hundreds of thousands of people who have.
He says, I make black comics for black people. I work with only black people. And then he has to get a quarter of what Eric July did. He had to go beg on national television for money.
Beg?
You go on Shark Tank. You go, please give me a deal. And he lost 30% of his company. Eric July gets to keep 100% of his company. You don't think there's maybe a little bit of jealousy?
Do you think? No, absolutely not. Can I tell you why? Because he's already making an animated series, which is going to make him a shit ton more money. Like, what has Eric July produced? Nothing.
Nothing
what
yet.
What has Black Sands Publishing produced? A platform on top of the fact that they have an entire series of books themselves. They have enabled other creators to get their books out into the world. They make monthly subscription money.
No,
Like,
you're right. But you're
like,
you're basing a company that's been around for years versus one that just came about 2 weeks ago.
right. So my question to you is, what are people giving him money for? Not that comic book, because
Eric July?
What are people giving him money for?
Real
Because
quick,
the book sounds like garbage.
real quick though, because I got 56 people here. Guys, the 56 people who are watching, thank you guys so much for watching. I need y'all to do me a favor. Go sign up for my Kickstarter, The Girl with the Mega Fist. It's a 200-page book. It'll be $15 on Kickstarter. Hit that notify me on launch button. Link in the chat. Okay, let's go back. You don't think that I do agree with you on who's buying the Rippaverse book. I do agree with you. I think there's
a single comic book fan.
False. There's 3 types of customers. There are 3 types of customers that I have witnessed. I have a video that I put out about the Rippaverse. It's gone almost like 18,000 views, and I've been flooded with comments all day since. It's one of my best performing videos. And there are 3 types of people that have entered that I've seen in the comment section and from his live streams. The first person that I see is the person who's never read a comic book before. They're like, "Oh, I'm here for the comic. I'm here for the comic. I want to get into this. This is their very first comic." They liked what Eric was talking about beforehand, but this is their very first comic. Right. The second type of customer is someone they've been reading comics forever. They became disgruntled with Marvel and DC. They stopped reading comics, and now they go, "There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to buy Eric's book because this is awesome." The third type of customer is, "I'm owning the libs by buying this book."
Mm-hmm. And the second group is actually also the third group, because the second group doesn't exist, because this is not the light at the end of the tunnel. Because if that were the reason they were buying it, they would be buying your book or any.
They are, homie, dude.
The other hunt.
They have. I put that video out, and a lot of them. I made 10 sales on my website. My website has made 0 sales in the year that I've had it. I use it just for Patreon stuff, and I made 10 sales this week because of that video of Eric July's people going, "Yo, I'm finding all these new indie comics now. I'm gonna buy your shit." And I'm gonna buy it. And so there's now all these disgruntled Marvel and DC people who are now.
Eric July said this?
What?
Eric July said this?
Said what?
Finding all these indie comics?
No, the consumers. The consumers of his stuff are coming into my channel saying, "Yo, because he's now doing this indie comic book, I'm now learning about the indie comic book community for the first time, and now I'm finding all these new." So that's why I'm saying there's 3 types of customers.
But here's the thing, those are all the third type. And let me tell you why. The first group was there for just outrage culture. So they were watching him for outrage. They were just getting their dopamine hit of someone owning the libs. The second group was doing the exact same thing, because if they were disgruntled with comic books and they don't like what's going on at Marvel and DC, they need someone to own the libs. And the third group just wants to own the libs. None of them actually give a shit about his comic book.
You don't think so?
Not even a little bit. I have read possibly the widest fucking gamut of the types of comics that I could possibly imagine. His pitch is dog shit. Let me give you his pitch, and you tell me if you would buy that book from me.
Okay.
This guy used to be a superhero.
Yes.
For a reason that I'm not going to tell you about or even hint at. He quit. His sister calls him one day, says one of her coworkers got abducted, and she needs him to go visit an old family friend who's a gangster now.
Heck yeah! This sounds like this is the plot of 24 Legacy.
It sounds like a dog shit book.
Dude, I'm into that. The retired hero who's got to get back in the game.
Hero. He even says that he was a kind of hero.
Dude, like here's the thing. Like, that's kind of interesting. I mean, what's the pitch for Batman? Guy loses his parents, so he dresses up like a bat and beats up like the mentally insane. Like,
I mean, see, that's funny because like now you're using some lib arguments, because I think those arguments are kind of full of shit too. He just beats up the mentally ill. Yeah, that's not what's going on. But the actual pitch for Batman is a boy loses his parents to violence on the streets, to crime, pledges his life to protect his city from crime so that no other little boy would have to go through what he went through. That's a solid pitch. That's a solid pitch from anyone.
You're right, and that can go on. But I will say and then it follows a formula. I'm going to protect. I'm liking the mystery and intrigue of Isom. You pitched it pretty well. I haven't backed. I might back it now.
See, and that's the funny part, because his pitch is dog shit. I gave you a more fucking, like a faster pitch. His pitch is 4 minutes fucking long, and it says nothing. The book is supposedly done. We see 3 pages, and not even whole pages. There are 4 total images that we see in that trailer.
But that's
the book is done? I don't think so. But I don't think that book exists. I don't think that book exists, or if it does,
it's
dog shit.
He said the book will.
Share it.
He said the book will come out in September.
He said the book is done.
Yeah. So he said the book. Yeah, the book will be delivered to people in September.
So if it's done, why will it be delivered in September? Because he's trying to milk the most.
No, it's July, and he's taking pre-orders up until August, and then he can go give a final print run.
He's got $2.5 million. He could print for everybody that's backed right now,
but
still have plenty of time.
But it's a lot. You save a lot more money on just giving them a long print run.
Of course, absolutely, and that makes sense. But that also extends your campaign and makes you more money.
Is it wrong though? Is it wrong though for him to make money?
But he's not making money off the quality of the book.
That's not what we're talking about. Is it wrong for him to make money?
If he's gonna do dog shit with it, yeah, it is. I think Jeff Bezos doing dog shit with his money is wrong.
He created one of the largest online platforms,
the largest near slavery, robbing you blind platform. Yeah.
Who's he enslaving?
He steals. Bro, are you serious?
Who's he enslaving?
If you went to work and you literally had to piss in a bottle so that you could keep doing your job and not get fired.
Who's making these? Wait, that's happening? Wait, that's legit happening? People are saying they have terrible working conditions and they're forced to work there?
Are you serious?
Who is enslaving these people? Wait, who's enslaving these people? No, who's enslaving these people?
I said near.
Near enslaved. But there's no gun to these people's heads. They could quit and find a new job.
No. And a lot of them did. But at the same time,
they can quit, find a new job.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah. So if your community is being racist,
hold on. I'm turning my camera off real quick because I have a booger in my nose.
But sure. So if you,
I got it out.
If you're a person in a community that's being racist or hateful towards you, just move, right? Right? If Putin's taking over your country, just find a new country. Fuck it, right?
I mean, you better run. They're running, or they're fighting. They're fighting,
right?
Would you fight for America if Russia invaded? I don't know. I'm just wondering.
Concept that the idea that you think that the Russians would even get this far.
But if they did, if they red dawned it, would you? If they red dawned it, would you join the Wolverines?
The who's?
The Wolverines.
I never saw those. I never saw either of those movies. But no, I would protect me and mine. And if we got into a position of stability, then yes, I would expand and try to protect more. But I would protect me and mine. That's what we.
You'll die.
That's what any of us can do.
You don't want to join America?
I've been an American for most of my life.
We're gonna join the American Army, you and me. And
they don't want me. They don't want me.
They might need you.
They might need me at a computer.
They might need you. So what you're saying though, your problem with Eric though is that people aren't buying the. You believe that people aren't.
Eric is that he is a bigot. The fact that he promotes the idea.
Can he be a bigot though and be black?
Absolutely, he can. Anyone can be a bigot. Bigotry is.
You just can't be racist. Racism has only certain people can be racist, but anyone can be bigot.
You're only bringing that argument in to try to gotcha me to somehow.
No. It's legit. It's legit. Yeah, only certain people can be.
Bigot. He's a bigot. I'm not. That's why I never said racist. He's a bigot. He's a hateful bigot. He makes his entire platform off shitting on other people and on shitting on the idea, the gay agenda, whatever the fuck that is. Because if there's a gay agenda, there's an everything agenda. Because if they're trying to feed you the gay shit, they're also trying to feed you straight shit. So then there's a straight agenda. But you know what? I'm looking for the Balkan agenda. Where's my Chavapi representation in my fucking comic books?
Better start it. All right, let's look at the definition of bigotry. A person who is obstinate or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who is prejudiced against or antagonistic toward a person or people on basis of their membership of our particular group. Now we should
literally just described everything here.
But we should also define prejudice, which is having or showing a dislike or distrust as derived from prejudice. Now, then we also need to go antagonistic.
Thank you for confirming that Eric.
Hey, dude, we got to get our definitions. Showing or feeling active opposition or hostility towards someone or something, an antagonistic group of bystanders. So you think... And then obstinate, stubbornly adhering to an opinion, purpose, or course, in spite of reason, arguments, persuasion, obstinate resistance to change. Would you say that you're you can believe that if you want to believe that Eric July is a bigot, you have every right. Do you believe that would that make you a bigot of Comicsgate or people like that?
That's not a group. Like, that's not a group in the way that gay people are.
But it's a group. It's a group.
Well, what's their shared characteristic?
They don't like mainstream comics, and
that's not a characteristic. That's an opinion.
What?
You want to define what a characteristic is, so you can keep.
Do I need to get? But here's the thing: I don't know if I should use a dictionary on you because you don't like the dictionary term of racism. So
yeah, and that's why we're not talking about racism. This conversation.
So we shouldn't use the dictionary though. Because not all the words.
They're trying to pedantry out of this.
I don't know what pedantry means.
Being pedantic?
It's being what?
Pedantic?
All right, now I'm going to have to get my...
Please do. You're trying to be pedantic about it just to somehow end up being correct.
Pedant. Now I got to look at another word. Hold on. Pedant? This is just... A lot of big words here. A person who is excessively concerned with minor details with rules. Oh, dude, don't use big words like this. Can you just say the full sentence? It makes it easier for me. I don't like how that works.
Like you're just trying to define words to somehow.
But okay,
argument by the definition of words. But these words have
bigotry. These words do have meaning. Racism has meaning. We can't pick and choose all our words. The definitions.
That's literally
now,
languages. So.
But with bigotry, so you would say that he is. Oh crap! We should have gone back to all the definitions that I had. You think that he is prejudiced? You think he's prejudiced and antagonistic toward these people by saying, "Hey, I don't like your stuff. I don't like this. This is annoying." That's considered prejudice.
But do you see like how you're minimizing his actual words? Have you actually watched any length of his videos?
Yeah.
I don't mean like 1 or 2 videos. I'm talking about watch 6 months worth of his videos.
I've watched several. In the last week.
I followed him, like I said, for a while, and the argument and the points he was making were all the same. This is just feminist garbage. He literally bought a comic book, chucked it on the ground because it was feminist garbage, and then kept buying that comic book so that he can make more arguments about how it's feminist garbage. Like, he just kept so it's prejudice, it's antagonistic. Like, he was talking shit about the creators, he was talking shit about the characters, and he was talking shit about Marvel.
But because you do. So if I grab my Batman book and go, oh my gosh, Batman Court of the Owls, the art sucks. Greg Capullo's art. If I do a video, I go, oh my gosh, can you believe that Greg Capullo's art sucks? Scott Snyder's right.
Just kill you. Like, Greg Capullo's kind of a fucking monster.
But is that me being prejudiced or antagonistic? Me saying, gosh, this Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's run absolutely sucked.
No, that's you voicing your opinion.
What's the difference between him doing the same thing?
Because you're not directing it towards a group of people based on a characteristic.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sick of all these. I'm so sick of these. This is just straight up white people. These are white people stories. I fucking hate these white writers. They suck. Is that bigotry then? Is that prejudice?
Yeah. If that's what your whole platform was, and all you did was talk about, how these fucking white writers, they don't know what the fuck to write about. Yeah. That's bigotry.
Is it bigotry when you have Vita Ayala say that no white people can? They don't want any white editors.
I don't think it's bigotry.
See, now you backpedal because she's
backpedaling because I think that is just like saying we want to hire someone with a bachelor's degree in XYZ.
No, that's completely different.
That's exactly the same.
Because a bachelor's degree, anyone of any race can have a bachelor's degree.
Sure, but do you know what comes with this skin? A certain type of experience.
White people can't. You can't
have that.
You can't write Blade. You can't write Blade or Luke Stone.
You can't write Blade in the same authentic fashion that a black person can.
You can't write about a guy who kills vampires with a sword.
A black dude is different.
You can't write.
You have to understand it's different. Like I've written certain characters.
Remember, I'm Asian. So I'm currently winning in diversity right now.
That's fine. I'm an immigrant. What's your point? Like
my mom was also an immigrant, and I'm also astrogender, but I'm astrogender fluid.
What the fuck did you just
That's my sexuality. I'm astrogender fluid. So I'm winning. I'm winning in the diversity thing.
Is that something? Now here's my question to you, because I've never heard of that before, and I'm curious.
Fair. We're a small community.
Okay, fair enough.
But
my point is, if I have a book that I'm writing currently that I'm editing, and I have written characters that I do not have the lived experience for. So the only honest shit I can write about them is the shit I can relate to. We talked about this earlier. There's certain shit you can take out of characters who you don't fully relate to. So I wrote in my book a black woman who is a business owner. I am a business owner, so I could speak to that. I can't speak to.
You can't write about any other aspect though of her life.
Not without a direct resource that I fully consult. Not honestly. I can make up some shit, yeah. I mean, but that's what people have been doing for the most of comic books, and it's been lukewarm at best.
Outpost, thank you for the £2. What part of Europe are you from, dude? I lived in England and Ireland for 5 years. A word means what its etymology suggests. Thank you for the £2. You know what we gotta do? We gotta play the super chat. I don't know if you're gonna like this, but we're gonna do it. Miss H, how many of these mainstream writers are?
That's cute because you combine manga and indie comics like those two things are somehow similar. Manga is absolutely more on Marvel's side because those are the established properties with tons of money to put behind their work.
I'm talking about just what's exciting to read these days.
Oh, fair enough. And that's fine, but but just saying manga, do you know how much manga is produced?
Too much manga.
Right. So you're saying that all of it is exciting to read?
It's enough to a lot of it is.
I'm talking to you. To you.
Me?
What manga do you read regularly?
Regularly I am reading Chainsaw Man that just came back, which is dope. Goblin Slayer, I read a ton of webtoons as well, a lot of manhwa. I'm currently reading some weird it's called something in a dungeon. I don't want to say it out loud. No, yeah, I read a ton of stuff. I read a ton of manga. I love Kaiju number 8. Yeah, that one's really good. I'm currently rereading Yu-Gi-Oh, which has been fun and sad because the creator just died. I read a ton of manga. I read a lot of comics too.
But besides Batman, what do you read in mainstream?
I attempted to read what's it called? That Texas Country. It's an Image Comics. I tried reading New Burn. I gave up Batman because I thought Tom King's Batman sucked, and then James Tynion ruined Batman for me. It wasn't his fault, I think. It's just how comics go because I wanted Joker to die. I just started.
Oh yeah, I think Joker should have died.
I thought Chip Zdarsky's current. He's only done one issue, and it was pretty entertaining. So, yeah, that was all right. I read mostly indie and manga and webtoons. And I do enjoy some of the Black Label Batman stuff that they do, even though they're overpriced.
Yeah. We could definitely talk about that. We definitely talk about fucking overpriced Marvel.
But indie and manga are a lot easier for me to read. They're more fun, and I mean, look at the sale. I mean, and I'm a numbers person. I work for a book publisher. I'm looking at book sale numbers all the time, and just the fact that Marvel and DC can't even show up in the top 100 graphic novel sales in America. Not even the top 200. It for me, it's like.
When you're comparing, let's say, 10 graphic novels from Marvel and DC a month, generously.
And none of them can. But none of them can hit top 100 in sales. The MCU,
not compared to books that have a built-in fan base. Here's the difference between we talked about
Marvel. It has a built-in fan base. You have the MCU.
You've said it yourself. I watched your video on the Shonen Jump, and they collect them in those books, right? So like, they have that. They've built up that monthly
in Japan. They do
for cheap. They built up that monthly for cheap.
And
they have the apps, right? So they have perfected access, and Marvel and DC right now, and I would say Marvel more than DC, and I'm more of a Marvel fan, so I feel like that's a little bit more of a statement for me. Marvel and DC right now are what Blockbuster was to Netflix. They're playing catch up to an industry that's already fucking changed.
Fair. I can 100% agree with that.
Marvel and DC digital comics should be 99 cents, no more, because they can fucking afford it.
I told you guys that we would find common ground in something. I told you before he came here that we'd find common ground.
I have said that for a 22-page standard size and format comic book, indie comics should not be more than $3. Marvel comics should not be more than $1, because Marvel can afford that shit. I read certain books monthly, but I don't read a ton of books monthly. At 99 cents a book, I'd throw $10 a month to read 10 different Marvel titles a month. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like, it becomes different, and then I still buy all these motherfuckers behind me.
But we're talking about the business though. But in terms of sales though, look at something like Scott Snyder. He writes Batman for the fans. He writes Batman in a way that the fans will like. He's doing anywhere from 150 to 170,000 in sales every month with that title. Tom King comes and makes Batman very effeminate, and sales drop to 70,000.
Makes Batman effeminate.
Effeminate. He's whining and crying in every issue.
I have not seen this. To be fair, I haven't read the books. I have perused them, but I have not seen this behavior. So I'm not.
But the fact is, sales don't lie. Sales show that there is a fan base who's not liking what's being read, and they're bouncing.
Sure.
And so the people, those who are bouncing.
That will make them either change or die. Those are the only two options.
That's okay, but those fans who are leaving, they're going to alternative methods, and we're finding them in indie comics, Comicsgate, the Rippaverse, and webtoons and stuff.
Can I tell you what my perception of Comicsgate in general is?
Yeah, go for it.
I came across comics. I was like blown away. I didn't even know this was a fucking thing that happened. Like, I was just not connected. Like, I'm not like really on Twitter. I really just started being on Twitter recently. So I was never on Twitter at that time. And somebody said something about Comicsgate, and was it Mike Miller supposedly got like kicked off from the what's it called?
Of all the people that you chose to talk about CG, I'm not Comicsgate by the way, but I got tons of friends in Comicsgate. We got B Rose here. Hail CG. Anyways,
here's the thing. Here was my perception of what happened. A bunch of people said what you're saying. We don't like what's going on. We want to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Cool. So make indie comics or buy indie comics, right? I went into a live chat because there were people saying, like, I guess Mark Waid had said that Mike Miller was he called him a monster or some shit. And I was like, damn, what did this dude do to be called a monster, right? So I go check out his channel, and I'm like, this dude seems just like an artist. Like, I'm not really seeing what the monster part is, because I guess he got kicked out of one of the cons. And Mark Waid was like, fuck him, like, he's a monster. And I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking rough. I went checked it out. I was in their live chats and shit, and they were talking about this kind of stuff. They're like, oh, you know, they're doing all this stuff. We don't like it, so we're creating our own books. And I was like, yeah, like what's been the like that? Nothing's been preventing you from doing that. We didn't just come up with indie comics. This was, I think, 2014. We didn't just come up with indie comics.
How do you? But you have to remember, like, this is a business. If I want people to read my book, let's say, if I want people to read my book, I've got to market it to them.
Sure, but do you market it because you're the counterculture?
Yeah. That's the story. That's the story, though. That's not the story. That's not the story of the comic. The story, though, of how the book was made.
Right. So
which is very important, by the way, in marketing a comic.
Right. And here's what happened. They literally said, "Well, where were you a year ago?" Like they needed someone to tell them to make indie comics. Like that just wasn't an option until somebody had brought it up.
Who, the creator?
Miller and like,
Mark Miller. But Mark Miller was working. Miller, yeah. But Mike S. Miller was working for DC Comics. He did Injustice. But he's like, he's go. Oh, I guess I'll make indie comics now. Yeah. I'll make. Oh, yeah. And so, but he's. I'm trying to figure out what's your view of the Comicsgate though.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like
they know
that are they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They don't know what the fuck.
No, because they make this big splash about, oh, we don't want to be indoctrinated into shit. We don't want these agendas and shit. And then Mike S. Miller and his fucking crew and their fucking live stream with a prayer. What the fuck?
Why can't they live stream with a prayer? They're Christian.
That's fine. But I'm not here for prayer.
You don't have to be, but his followers might.
No, but my point is, that's indoctrination.
Praying?
That's the same shit. That's the same agenda shit.
Right.
To say, oh, we don't want comics with agendas, but come here to our fucking live stream.
By the way, Mike S. Miller might be the worst person to use as an example because no one in Comicsgate likes him anymore.
Right. And I
think he's the worst
because I watched him fucking kick a dude off a fucking live stream. Granted, that dude wasn't really making a point, but he like didn't hear him out. He just did, like, he had no. But anyway, fine. We'll go bigger, right? We'll go to EVS.
Hold on, before you go to EVS, Black B-Rose, get on that One Piece final arc, dude. I can't read One Piece. I have a life. I want to though. Mass Panda, Tyler, you're not a busty blonde. What makes you think you can write the girl with the mega fist? That's true. I'm not a woman. How can I write the girl with the mega fist? Here we go, guys. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Because you're a man and you know how to sexualize women because we do it subconsciously.
But my story has no sex in it. Everyone's still backing you.
Every single one of your covers does.
What are you talking about? Take that back. Hold on. Take that back. What is sexual about any of these besides this one on the right? I will give you that. She's in a bikini.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's not doing anything sexual. She just looks good.
Why is the character wearing a costume that's not even in the comic?
What are you talking about? This? Oh, this?
The interior art, as far as for.
No, don't worry. I addressed this to everyone. There is a scene where there is a 12, 15 page scene where they're all swimming. They're all swimming. They're all at the beach.
I'm not even talking about the bikini. Bikini covers, like swimsuit covers, whatever. That shit's old hat. I'm talking about the actual suit that she's wearing on the covers that isn't in the comic.
This isn't in the. Wait, have you read my comic?
I watched your videos when you were drawing it. She doesn't wear that.
She does though in this volume. This is her.
Volume
suit.
Has the same costume. Is my point. Look,
what are you talking about?
You're playing up the sexy aspect to gain viewers and to gain followers.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. Pandering to an audience to get likes and clicks.
Stop it! No one follows my books because I have sexy covers. This is not a sexy cover. That's just a cover.
Yeah.
Take that back. You're hurting my feelings.
Okay.
No, she. What are you talking about? Wait, what do you mean you're talking about? She doesn't wear the suit.
Again, I haven't read the comic. That's
you should. It's 200 pages. It's $15.
I read Entity, and I'm mad at you that you don't have a digital copy available online.
Oh, I do.
But you have one issue. That's not. I want to read the whole thing.
Oh, you're the one who downloaded it on my Gumroad? You can get it on Global Comics. You can read the whole thing for free on Global Comics.
I don't want to read it on an app.
Do you want to read it on Kindle?
I just want to read a PDF. Oh,
do you want to read it on? You want? I'm putting it on Amazon this weekend.
Perfect.
Anyways, if
I
you
read the first issue. It's solid. I like it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Oh, okay, this is important.
That kind of shit is like just like we said. Not liking something doesn't make you like. I'm not a misogynist for not liking this book because it stars a female character. That kind of shit doesn't really like work for me. That's not my.
But this isn't sexualizing. She's like she's not naked.
I mean, she's not naked, but sexualizing doesn't necessarily mean nudity.
How is the thing in the middle sexualized? Just so I know.
Because you purposefully designed a character that shows off cleavage. That is inherently playing up a sexualized aspect of a character.
Is it wrong?
What do you mean, is it wrong?
Is it wrong to do that, though?
Oh, that's a morality question. I don't really care about that. I'm just saying you did that. That's the thing you did.
That's fair.
I don't have a moral stance on the subject. I'm just saying you did that. And like people will do that shit and be like, nah. Like, no. Like when Marvel hired that fucking porn artist to draw a Spider-Woman cover, and they were like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, you hired a porn artist. Like, you know what the problem is, you just don't want to say it. Like,
that's fair. It's kind of like when people, it's kind of like, using your analogy, it's kind of like when the WNBA are like, how come we don't get paid the same as the guys? It's like, we know the problem, you don't. It's kind of like that, right? Like we know the problem. Like you seen that? Like
I don't watch sports, so I don't know the problem.
Like the WNBA will be like, how come we don't get paid as much as the men? And then the commentators are like, oh, I have no idea about the problem, but like they know the problem. Kind of like how Marvel, like, oh, like we know the problem. Like they know the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know why. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, like I mean, it's like it's saying that like pretending like some shit didn't happen. Like they give an exclusive license to J. Scott Campbell to draw sexy covers and sell them on his website, separate from Marvel. They send him prints specifically with his artwork so that he can sell them. They don't sell them. They don't sell them in comic book stores. He sells them. Exclusive covers. They know who he's selling to. Dudes are jerking to those covers.
Ew.
But they don't care because he pays them a license fee. He sells the books.
Going back though, fair. Going back to your Comicsgate thing. Oh, everyone, you should sign up for my Kickstarter. I really appreciate it. So that it would really appreciate it. Going back to the whole Comicsgate thing, the
best
go ahead. You said Ethan. You said let's go to the top. Let's go to Ethan.
EVS.
Which, by the way, I'm not a big fan of Ethan. By the way,
but good because he's also a bigot and a fucking misogynist.
Like I like B-Rose though. I like Jeremy, but yeah, let's talk about Ethan. And when I say I don't like Ethan, I've had Ethan on the channel. We just disagree on a lot of things.
And
he's a pooper head sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah,
he's a pooper head.
The thing is, he made all this money, and for a straight up ripoff of Superman mixed with Battletoads.
Are you pissed? Okay, you always bring up money though. Are you pissed that these people are making money off of it?
I'm pissed that people who deserve it, who have been producing comic books in the independent market for 20 fucking years, have to struggle.
No, my dude, we can't do that. We can't say that stuff. We can't say that again. You and I have been but others, but like they don't deserve it.
They absolutely do.
They don't.
The only difference is they haven't built a platform based on hatred.
No, the only difference is that they haven't built a platform as big. That's the only difference. They haven't built a platform that's as big.
The only platform EVS had and has is him shit talking the shit.
So make a big platform on positivity then.
But positivity doesn't sell.
That's false. Some of the biggest content creators out there in the world
literally went to court because it doesn't sell. They forced people to watch fucking angry
Positivity does sell. Positivity does sell. I'm not saying just in comics, but positivity will always win. Yeah? At the end of the day.
Really?
Yeah. The biggest YouTube creator only does positive content.
Who?
Mr. Beast.
Is he the biggest now?
He's the biggest. He's the biggest.
I thought you were gonna say fucking
PewDiePie. No, it's not Mr. Beast.
Yeah, but how
That
long
positive
did it take to get there?
It doesn't matter though.
It does.
It doesn't. No, but it doesn't.
He caught. You understand that his entire Mr. Beast. I love the guy. He's a great dude. He does great shit. There's no hate against him. He has mastered gaming the entire fucking thing that makes YouTube run.
So how come another comment? How come an indie comic creator can't do the same thing? Why can't an indie comic creator create a big platform? But you're saying that other creators can't do it because they're not going to want to do it off hate. Why can't they do it off of positivity?
Can I tell you why?
I'd love to know.
As comic book fans, inherently, all of us read the shit from different perspectives. And we each think that our perspective is the perspective people should be viewing it from. All of us. Regardless of how open-minded you might be, that your first reaction, most people attach to the first reaction they have. And most people will just ride that for fucking ever. So it doesn't matter if someone says, hey, I didn't like this book because of this. Nah, you're stupid. This book was fucking great.
You're saying that Eric July doesn't deserve the money because he hasn't been in indie comics as much as these other people.
I don't think. No. I don't think he doesn't. I think he doesn't deserve the money because he's a bigot, and his whole platform is based on bigotry, and the only reason he has that money is bigotry. The same it's literally 2016 playing out again. Play to the lowest common denominator, and they will buy whatever you fucking sell them.
What happened in 2016? Educate me.
Trump.
Are you saying that people who vote for Trump have the lowest denominator of IQ?
I think Trump played to the lowest common denominator
in IQ. Just the lowest denominator. Okay, keep going.
I think he played to the worst personality traits that people have: hatred, othering, small communities, small-mindedness. He played to all of those things, and all those people found a community. And even when they realize that they're dumb and they are wrong, they double down because they feel safe in that community that they've built. Even though that community, if they were being true and honest to themselves, that community would burn them to the ground. I've seen it. I've seen an interview.
What community? So you're saying that Trump pandered to this community, but left-wing people pandered to do the same thing. They just pandered to the other communities. Just for 2016, they pandered to the wrong community and lost.
No. But the difference is that on the left, there are, as far as I'm aware, there are no groups centered around a single person. We are centered around ideals. Whereas everyone wrapped around Trump, it doesn't matter what he stood for. Didn't matter. They were following him because he was talking to them. It didn't matter what he stood for. It didn't matter what he said. It didn't matter what his policies were. He never built that wall. Guess what? They would suck his dick right now if he said he would do it.
Whoa. That's gay.
He said he would kiss every single person in his fucking little entourage that showed up at one of his fucking rallies. He said he would kiss every single person.
But like you said, the lowest denominator, like that, you're basically calling.
I think he played to people's fears. He played to people's hatreds, and he played to the worst emotions that people.
Liberals don't do that. Don't play to people's fears.
No,
both sides do it.
No, the Democrats.
They're gonna take away your women's rights. Vote for us. They're gonna kill you on the streets.
And look, they did.
They're gonna kill you on the streets. Every black person. They're gonna kill you on the streets.
But they don't say that. That's not what they say.
Come on, dude.
No, you're exaggerating it. But they don't say that. Whereas Trump did say that. Trump flat out asked for a dude to be beaten the fuck out of in his own shit, on camera, on stage, in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
So what you're saying, though, is that Eric doesn't deserve money because you don't believe in his viewpoints.
No, I don't. No. It has nothing to do with my belief of his viewpoints. I think because he built his platform on hatred and bigotry.
But you believe that it's hatred.
It is. We just defined it. You defined it for me.
I didn't look up hate. We don't use the dictionary because we don't agree with words in the
You
dictionary.
defined bigotry, and every single part of the definition of bigotry is Eric Chalai.
But
His platform. I don't know if that's him in his real life, but that's him who he is on YouTube, and that's who they bought.
But the thing is, what you see as prejudice, I said some people see as comfort community of going, you know what?
I just told you why. Because it plays to their worst feelings, and instead of people dealing with their bullshit, if they feel safe with their bad feelings, and other people have the same bad feelings, instead of just dealing with their shit and getting over their dumb shit, they just commiserate.
Yeah, but they're commiserating right now on the fact that, yay, we have a comic that we can read that's going to be something that we want to read.
It's not. They're commiserating around the fact that it's not that. Not that it's good. Not that it sounds good. Not that it sounds interesting. It's not that. It's not that thing we hate.
It just sounds.
If I were to say a percentage, I would say less than 20% of the people that have put money into that campaign actually think that sounds like a good book.
But you can't make that claim though. We can't make that claim.
Based on the community based on that community, yeah, I can. Want to know why? Because all Comicsgate is 1991. It's 1991. Go to the Comics. It was an indie.
B Rose wasn't even born in 1991. That's not nice.
Right. So they didn't see it. So they didn't know it was a bad idea. My point is, you look at all the shit that came out in 1991, and it was like the $1 million comic book got sold, and motherfuckers just put every comic book idea got made, every single one. 90% of them fucking failed. Guess what's happening in Comicsgate? 90% of those bitches are failing because they're dog shit ideas. Some of those sales, I've been to IndieCron. Like I said, I try to give people a chance, but when I go to the fucking list, I'm like, all this sounds like dog shit.
But that's because you just haven't found. Just because you don't like any of those Comicsgate books doesn't mean they're all bad. I mean, I don't buy them either. I don't buy some of them. I don't buy the ones I'm not interested in.
Sure,
but to say a blanket says. But I'm not going to say that all of Comicsgate books are suck because they're Comicsgate.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's 1991. Most suck, and a few might be good enough until they get good. Because guess what? Youngblood sucked ass. People still bought a shit ton of them.
I wasn't around then. Exactly. I wasn't born yet.
But my point, I wasn't either. I was not even in this country at that time. But the leftovers of that.
Were you born though? Were you alive in 1991?
Yeah.
Because like I'm like young as shit. Like I'm filled with youth.
I'm spiritually young.
Have you seen my haircut?
It's fly. I've said
Thank you.
It looks good.
But with that being said, I'm just saying, like, it's hard for me to be okay with blanket statements. I mean, you saying that Trump hit with people the lowest supporters, would you say that you're prejudiced against Trump supporters? Is that prejudice? Bigotry
I
over?
absolutely am prejudiced against Trump supporters. Trump supporters start at a much lower position in a conversation than anyone else does.
So you're saying, so that's bigotry on your part.
If I walk up to someone and they're wearing a MAGA hat, absolutely, they have to climb a big fucking fat ladder before they're even on a level where I can.
So that's a form of bigotry, though.
Sure.
Okay. As long as we're okay with being bigots.
If that's fine. If that's fine. Like if that's.
So it's okay to be a bigot to someone you don't like. It's okay to be a bigot to a group that you don't like.
It's prejudice. I don't know that it's bigotry.
But is it bigotry?
It's not based on a characteristic. It's based on a movement. It's based on a fucking opinion. That's why you can't be bigoted against Comicsgate people. Comicsgate people are just people who are.
Can you be bigoted against feminists?
Against feminists?
Yeah.
You can be bigoted against women.
But feminists.
I don't know. That's a hard fucking because
it's an opinion.
I think more people are feminists than want to admit, because at its core, feminism, the actual
No one's saying that women shouldn't be equal. Women are already equal. They can already do more things than men can do.
Yeah, but that's not the point.
What's the point?
Do you believe that a man and a woman who do the same job and have the same qualifications for that job should be paid the same amount of money?
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations, you're a feminist.
Cool. The problem is but you're going to pull up this wage gap, which has been disproven time and time again.
No, it's been disproven in a general sense, but it constantly happens in actual places.
In Utah, Utah is considered the worst place for women's rights in terms of the workplace, and they say this is the worst place for a woman to work. That's the reason why is because like 90% of the women here in Utah don't work. They're stay-at-home moms. So it's not right, to say
so the job, so the workforce is primarily catered towards men, and thus as you're entering the workforce, it's going to suck.
No, they're just saying It's just the sample size it's not equal. You can't say 100 men to 1 woman. Say, oh, it's not equal.
Sample size in the military is not equal. What's your point?
I don't know what you're talking about with the military. I'm not in the military.
There's more men in the military than there are women. Factual.
Yeah.
Right. So the sample size is not the same, but that doesn't mean that 2 infantry people shouldn't be paid the same amount of money if they're qualified.
No, they absolutely should be paid. No, I'm with you. They should absolutely be paid the same. As long as they're working the absolute amount of work, blah, blah, blah.
No, absolutely. The amount of work is irrelevant. I'm talking about the position should offer the same amount of money to men and women if they're the same level qualified, same level of education, same level of
the thing is
job calls for. I'm not talking about performance because dudes slack off at work all the time.
But if I work 10 hours, if I have the same position as the girl next to me and I'm working 10 hours extra every single week on salary, I should get paid more than her because I work harder.
Absolutely not. If it's a salary job, that's a choice you're making.
No, they can but if they ask me to, hey, they go, hey, we're gonna give you let's say we both start off at 50K and then my boss goes, hey, I see you've been working really hard. She doesn't, so I'm gonna give you 60K. Is that prejudice? I earned it.
That's a merit rate. That's a merit-based raise.
Okay, fair.
I'm talking about starting positions. I'm not talking.
And I don't think. And here's the thing. I don't think you're gonna. I will hold your hand and agree with you that men and women should be paid equally on the same positions. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's really it. That's really it. Like as long as it's not like, oh well, because there is an actual bias in hiring that people won't hire women because, oh well, they might decide to have children, so they might take maternity leave, and thus they won't be available to me as an employee for a certain period of time. That's a bullshit fucking reason not to hire somebody.
Would you say it's a bullshit? Would you say it's a bullshit reason to not to hire someone based off of the color of their skin? Like when Vida Ayala said that they don't want white editors.
You're really mad about that. I don't know why.
Because it's racist.
Is she a hiring manager at Marvel?
It's racist.
Is she a hiring manager at Marvel?
It's racist.
Is she a hiring?
It doesn't matter. She represents the company. It's racist. Can I say that? Can I say that then? That is it okay for me to then go that Marvel hires racist writers? Because she said that.
If you believe that is racist, you can absolutely say.
If I make a video saying Vida Ayala, who is a woman and a LGBT person, can I say, if I make a video saying Vida Ayala, who's a woman and bi, she is racist, does that make it because I'm acting prejudice against her in the video? Because that's all. Like when you see Comicsgate videos and Eric July videos, all it is people commenting on what other people say. Vida Ayala said this. We're gonna make videos on how Vida Ayala is a racist.
But
that's not prejudice.
But that's not what the video is about. The video is about that, and then we talk about the gay agenda, and they're trying to box us out, and they don't want us.
Why can they? What's wrong with saying that there's a gay agenda?
Because there's no gay agenda.
As a parent, I can say, man, like there's a lot of really inappropriate LGBTQ books in libraries right now. You have that gender queer one. That's.
What does that have to do with you?
What do you mean? What's that have to do with me?
What does that have to do with you? If there is a book that talks about gender queer and it is age appropriate,
it's not. It's not age appropriate. That was just why they're. Because
why do you think it's not age appropriate?
Because it's there. Because yes, I have read it. I went to Barnes and Noble and I wanted to see if it was real. You've got 15-year-olds sucking dick in the pages of the book. And these books are in libraries, in schools. That's child pornography.
Do you think that 15-year-olds don't?
That's child pornography. I don't care what people do behind closed doors, but it's child pornography.
But well, if it's photography, yeah. If it's photographs or if it's video, yes, it's absolutely
So
pornography.
it's not. So if I draw 2 10-year-olds having sex, it's not child pornography.
It probably goes against TOS of a platform if you share it on social media, but it itself is not child pornography.
Oh, you and I have very different definitions.
Because I can actually point you to an example. I forget his name. It was FFFPEG. I forget what the fucking.
It's the definition I know is define. Federal law defines child pornography as any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a minor. Okay. Any. And so when you say there's no gay agenda, I can go, well, why is there all this really hardcore sexual gay stuff in my kid's library?
Let me ask you a question. That depiction that you're referring to, what is the context of it? You said you read it. So
it doesn't matter. There's 2 12-year-olds giving each other a blowjob.
Well, they were 15 a minute ago. Now they're 12.
Whatever, 15-year-olds. I don't want to pull up the image. It doesn't matter. They're minors. Fine, we'll just say minors.
Sure.
I'm not pulling that image up.
I'm not saying you should. My point is, what is the context of it?
I have these sexual feelings, and I'm thinking about. I wonder what it's like to give someone a blowjob.
And then they depict it.
And then they have they have a ton of sexual acts of the characters drawn, and that's
weird. That's weird. That's a bit.
Yeah,
much.
but that's in a lot of that stuff. That's just one example, and they're currently getting sued. But to say that
sounds like a mature book that is not age appropriate for high school kids.
But that's why when you say there's no gay agenda. When you say there's no gay agenda, you have people using books like this and go, if there isn't a gay agenda, why are all these LGBTQ books flooding into my child's library depicting stuff?
They're not though.
Homie, dude.
Is the Bible in the library? Because the Bible has some really fucked up shit.
I don't think the Bible is in there, nor should it be.
Well,
nor should it be.
We agree
unless it's a private school. If it's a private school, go for it. Public school, no.
That's the thing we agree on for sure.
Okay.
My question is, my point is, they're not flooding. Like they're not flooding. There's 5 books, maybe 10. And
I did a video where it was a list of the top 50 LGBTQ books that are in schools right now. Really? Yes.
You're gonna tell me that these LGBTQ books that depict sexual acts of minors are in school libraries, but they took out mouse because it's got the word shit and damn in it?
What's your point? I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is something's not adding up. So someone might have an agenda, and
there might be a gay agenda.
But I think it's not a gay agenda. I think it's an agenda of, we're going to take these books out because they make us look bad because that was our grandparents that were doing that shit. And we're going to leave these books in because then we can point to them as being the bad books, and then we can win on both ends.
Now that is now right there, that's quite the conspiracy.
No, it's not.
You can
take out books. Have you read Mouse?
You're saying that right-leaning people are taking out Mouse and leaving genderqueer, so then they can go, they took out Mouse, but they're leaving genderqueer.
If they can take out Mouse, why can't they take out the genderqueer stuff?
They're trying to. They're like, these are pointing out.
Why is it so hard?
Because the LGBT people are considered a protected class. They're a protected class in society.
Protected class?
No, not LGBTQ people are on the LGBT people are on our second place, and then right on top it's trans right now. Trans people are in the top of in the trop.
Trans people are literally, Jesus fucking Christ, I can't believe you said that.
The top of that diversity totem right now.
People, there's no totem. Jesus fucking Christ.
Trans of the protected class.
The most fucking endangered group of people in this country.
Endangered? How are they endangered?
They're being killed. People are violently assaulting and killing trans people in this country for the sole concept of them being trans.
I've not read one news article this whole year where someone died because they were trans. I have, though, read several articles of gay people getting their heads cut off in Mecca for Muslim rights, for Muslim religion stuff. But
do you see how you just othered an entire fucking country?
no, I didn't know
Like
that.
an entire faith. You just othered an entire group of people just like that. Like as a fucking side note.
Dude, it was like a layup.
It wasn't even to make a point.
What I'm saying is I haven't saying that people are does that, so that mean they're a protected class though? My point is
I think every class that can be protected should be protected. I think people have a genuine and honest right to fucking life.
Everyone should be a protected class then. Everyone should be a protected class. White, black, LGBT, straight. No?
Yeah, white people need so much protection. White people control this entire country, but yeah, we need protection. Yeah, I need protection walking.
We just had Barack Obama as our president two presidents ago.
I've got a black friend, right? Come on. Yeah, I think that was for America.
You think so? He was on. Wow.
That's Obama being president for America was a racist person being like, "I've got a black friend."
Well, this is so funny. Going back to you can see though how people would see like these people they're not making videos. People like Eric July, Comicsgate, maybe even myself sometimes, we don't make videos based off of just like I have this thought. It's looking into the media. It's looking at news articles and going, why is this happening? And so when Eric July, he doesn't go, hey guys, I think there's a gay agenda. He'll pull up several articles and it's a story, and then you start building this up. And so just because you are just because you say something like that doesn't mean you're a bigot. Just because I say, hey, I think there's a gay agenda, that doesn't make me a bigot. I'm not saying gays are bad. What I'm saying is that there could be a gay agenda.
So what is the agenda? If it's not bad inherently, what is the agenda? Why does it need to be phrased that way? Because if that were true, then there's a child agenda.
You're right. There is a child. No, you're right. People will say there is a child agenda. Where why is it?
Children's books made recently. A ton of people are making children's books. There's a child agenda.
Why is there? But you're right. But why does it have to do with their sexuality? Why does a first grader or second grader need to have their sexuality talked about?
It is from a place of privilege that you speak that you have never had to.
I'm Asian. Whoa.
But you're not. As far as I'm aware, you're straight. So
I'm astro gender fluid.
Okay. My point is, some people have to go through that journey earlier in life. So having a point of reference, having something that explains those feelings, because a lot of people may not feel safe.
Why can't the parent do it? Why can't the parent do it?
Because in most cases, not I'm going to say most, I'm going to say in a lot of cases, the home is not a safe environment for those children.
That's not but why should the school's job is to educate my kid on English, math, and science, not their sexuality?
No, there's no such thing as health class. I did not in 8th grade watch a video.
8th grade, not in elementary school.
There was health classes in elementary school.
Not a first or second grade or third grade. And even in 5th grade, it was like, hey, you're going to go through puberty and you're going to have, that's it. But it wasn't
So what's wrong with adding one more sentence to that? You might be wondering about your body and who you might like. That's it.
It's not just that though. It's also we're also talking about, gender, their gender stuff. That's probably bigger than than a gay agenda is confusing these children, saying, well, there's more than just one gender. You're not a boy. You're like these.
Well, even if you don't believe in transgender, there's more than one gender.
There's not. There's these kids don't need that in their life. These kids don't need that kind of confusion in their life.
Roasting you for that one, Chief.
Why what?
I hope your chat is roasting you for that statement that you just don't.
For what statement?
What statement? You just said there was one gender.
There's two genders. There's two genders. There's male and female.
You said there was one twice.
Okay. There's only one, and it's men because we're the best.
Yeah. The point is that's not confusing. Do you understand that people get to teenage years, they get to adulthood and are disgusted in their own body and they never had an understanding.
Once again,
of what
though,
that could be.
it's not it. It is my job as a parent then to raise my child with that, not the schools, not the schools.
But this is a public. We're talking about public school, and they
Paid for my taxpayer money.
Sure, to provide a general understanding of general humanity and general biology.
General humanity, and yet we're pandering to
pandering. That's just
we're pandering to 1 to 3%.
Bro,
of people.
That's not pandering, that's just adding. You're just adding data
to 1 to 3% of people. 1% of people struggle with their gender, so we're gonna do all this shit for these 1% of people.
Guess what? When they added in the history books in America discussion about the Bosnian War in the mid-90s, they were pandering to people like me. And kids who were born here.
That's history,
didn't
though.
have to go through that.
That's history. No, it's not. No, it's not, because you have to realize, you say that comics and all these people are like 1991. It's because at this point, these people in these groups, these disgruntled groups, they're at the age where they have kids now. They have kids now. They're parents, and they're concerned about what's happening. What's being taught with their kid, being taught to their kids. Why the fact that my kid can go, hey dad, I read this comic called Gender Fluid, and I saw these 15-year-olds sucking dick in there, and it's like, okay, crap.
Can you, father, discuss this with me so that we can, so that I can have a
and
full
it should be under but I should have the right to explain it, and to not have my kid, who should be in a safe space, seeing pornography, child pornography, pornography.
Do you think? But he's a child, so it's a little different.
What?
It's a little different, right? He's a child.
What?
You're this hypothetical child of yours. He's a child. They're a child.
Yeah.
So
they're a child. What? I'm missing something.
They're just seeing themselves. They're just seeing themselves and people who are around them. They're just seeing what a reality around them could be and what other people might be doing, and understanding some feelings that are happening in their own body. Because guess what?
Yes.
When I was a kid, and the only shit I got to learn, because I had a extremely restrictive and repressed mother, she didn't talk to me about anything, I learned from fucking porno. And guess what?
Yeah.
That's not fucking healthy.
Whose fault was that? It's your mom's. It's your mom's fault.
So, right. But you are aware that not all parents are good parents, right? You are aware that
that's not my problem. That's not my problem that someone has a shitty parent. That's not my problem. Someone has a shitty parent.
So okay. So let's say
that's not my problem that someone has a shitty parent.
Okay, that's fine. So let's say your kid turns 18 and decides, I am trans, right? Decides they're trans.
We cry. Keep going.
Okay, that's weird. That's a weird reaction.
You love them though.
But Billy from fucking down the street, who has shit parents, doesn't understand that and beats the shit out of your child. Is that your problem?
It's not my problem.
No. So your child's gotten beaten the shit out of just because they're trans.
My kid got beat?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah.
Because Billy down the street doesn't understand it because he has shit parents and there was no book in the school.
Yeah. I mean now it's my problem. But
the point is, if you don't if we as a society don't teach the children are going to be pieces of shit.
You can teach a child to be nice. You can be a child, say, hey, we don't attack people that we don't agree with.
But again,
I can tell my child and go, listen, there's only two genders. Don't, whatever your public school said, there's only two genders.
Okay. So then I would not be surprised if your child does not come out to you if they are trans.
That's
and
fine.
Does go to an alternative source of support, like a book in a fucking library.
Why is that book in that library though? But the point is though,
children like that need some sort of support.
No, but the thing is I didn't even know any about that. I didn't know, the point is it's happening with first and second graders. They shouldn't even think about that stuff.
It's genuinely not.
They shouldn't even be thinking about that stuff.
Genuinely not.
It's genuinely, you have fucking drag people coming into schools and reading children's books to graders, dude. So, and these drag people are coming out, are finding there's news articles of
dress different.
Of what?
Those are people who are dressed different. They just dress.
They're called drag queens.
I'm saying to your first grader, that's just a person who dresses different.
and they say, hey, I'm a drag queen and I'm reading this LGBT about transgender stuff. Did you know anything about that stuff? And my kid should not be going, oh, what is a gender? Oh, why is there so many genders? My kid should just go.
Your 7-year-old doesn't know about genders yet?
Yeah, he knows that there's male and female. That's it.
Right.
But he doesn't even be taught anything else.
But you're just indoctrinating your child.
Yeah, that's my right as a parent to indoctrinate my child in my way.
Interesting.
That's my right. You have no right to tell. You have no right to teach. You didn't make the child. You didn't pay for the child. You didn't make the child. You didn't pay for the child. You don't raise the child. You don't feed the child. You don't have any right to tell my child anything. Indoctrinate my child in anything.
I don't pay taxes for other people's children.
That's a whole other thing. But you don't have a right. You
just said I don't pay for the child. I do pay for the child.
You don't have a right to indoctrinate my child. You don't pay for my child. You didn't help make my child. You didn't birth my child. You didn't raise my child. You have no right to indoctrinate my child in anything.
I'm not suggesting that anyone else should. I'm not saying that anyone should indoctrinate children. I'm just saying that we should prevent children from being indoctrinated.
I will indoctrinate my child with my beliefs, my values, my morality, and my worldview points because they're my child. Every parent will do that.
And you think that is universally okay?
100%. 100%.
Cool.
Now, I'm not saying...
So when your kid, who is part Asian, gets their ass beat by Ricky Bobby from down the street because his dad was a racist and he hates Asian people, again, it's your problem.
Yeah, and I'll go, hey, yo, Ricky Bobby's dad, why are you doing that? That's racism. Don't do that. And then we kill Ricky Bobby's dad.
The point is, we will never get through any of our societal bullshit if we keep talking about me. You just spent 5 minutes talking about how you get to decide with your child. It's all about you.
Why don't I get it? It's my child
to participate in society.
It's my child. Why can't I?
So if your child hits 15, goes to high school, and is like, I don't understand. This girl says she's a girl, but I think she's a boy. Are you going to explain that to him from a place of love and care and understanding?
I will explain it to him.
Or are you just going to let him run wild and be like, only two genders, fuck them?
Yeah, I'll probably do a mix of both. You can do both. You can do both.
It's everyone's problem unless you have private education for everyone's unless every single person brings their children.
I don't want to get into the transgender one because you won't like my views on transgender. On transgenders. You brought it up. Did I?
You brought it up.
Well, my kid. Well, we're talking about agendas though. We're seeing in
agendas. Okay, so what's the agenda of providing more information to children? To give them a wider understanding of the world.
Wait, but can we go back to comics? I'm a comic book channel.
Yeah, we're talking about the gay agenda in comics, right?
But you're saying you're mad that people like Eric July and Comicsgate and like will make videos about the gay agenda, monetize it, and make bank on their comics.
Yeah, and then produce shit comics, or not produce them at all, as you said in one of your videos.
But that's subjective. That's subjective on if they're on if they're good. Just like just like bigotry, I think is subjective.
Except to go back to your point of men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Look at IndieCron right now and tell me how many campaigns are successful out of the 100,000 that are on there
of indie comics.
No, IndieCron. That's the Comicsgate campaign website.
Oh, made by Pixel Trader? Yeah. IndieCron. I mean, I don't even know if the website's running functionally anymore.
Sure.
Still.
I'm just saying, at whatever the point it's at, how many were successful? Not that fucking
weren't, but you can say that about Kickstarter, like non-Comicsgate books as well. How many of them aren't successful?
But guess what? I could tell you exactly the number of comic books that I have backed in my 10 years of backing comic books on Kickstarter that weren't funded. 3.
I have like 10.
Okay. So
I have like 10 on 13. Kickstarter.
So between us, 13 projects in 10 years that haven't been kickstarted. On IndieCon, there are 3 before you scroll down. There are 13 before you scroll down twice.
I'm literally on IndieCron right now, and it says the first one is Magna and the Posse. It's raised $5,000, and the goal of 500. I have yet to see a one that's not, and This one's struggling. Spearhead. But I mean, like that's semantics though.
It's not semantics. Like, you said numbers prove a point, and numbers do prove a point. What Indie Chronic or what Comicsgate is just the early 90s. It's every idea and every shitty idea being thrown at the fucking wall. The few things that stick are the few things that are at the top and make $1 million. And in the current case, in the current scenario, not off the quality of the book, because let's be honest, Cyberfrog is pretty garbage as a book. He's not a good writer. On top of his bad fucking personality and the shit he says and how he treats people, he's just not a good writer. He stole the idea of Superman and put it with Battletoads, and he did that in the 90s. And guess what? It didn't go anywhere in the 90s. That's why he went to work for the big guns. And then after he built up a fame from doing a shit.
There you go, though. But there you go. See, that's a difference. Remember,
he makes a big stink about quitting.
But remember this: 45 minutes ago, you said that there were indie comic creators who deserved the money and more. And the reason why that they didn't get that money is because they don't have a platform like Eric. You're right.
They haven't built a platform on hatred, yeah, because they have to.
But they haven't built a platform. They just haven't built a big platform. They don't. People. The thing that people forget about Comicsgate is that these guys, they vote with their wallets.
Right.
So if you have a 500,000 followers and you can only make $1,000, it means that your following doesn't really give a shit about your comics. These people,
and that you don't have a fucking platform to stand on. That your platform is dog shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So that means
Eric has made a really good platform of people who open their wallets to him. So make your own. I have a platform. I'm building my platform.
Sure.
I'm building my platform.
You are at least trying. I can't say that you're succeeding, but you are at least trying to understand the entire spectrum of the argument. You are not just.
I understand the whole.
Because of this, I'm gonna do.
But I understand. Here's the thing, though, is I understand the whole argument. I just choose, but I don't just because I see both sides, and I choose this one. You can like.
So is that
No. Oh wait. I'm sorry, confused. I think we got our things wrong. What are the sides? Comicsgate,
Comicsgate, and mainstream media, like just being an option.
I never put like the hashtag Comicsgate because I don't like being affiliated with groups. I just don't like being affiliated. So I fuck with people in Comicsgate. I go on their streams. They fuck with me. I like them. I also fuck with anti-Comicsgate people. I hang out with people who brutally hate Comicsgate, and I have a silly goose time. I just swim.
Right.
On
so
everything.
You do what is best for you and your platform, and that to me is the correct way to do it. You're not just here hating on a single idea. You're not here just hating on a group of people.
I mean, no.
Right. From what I've seen, and I haven't seen a ton of your content, but I didn't know you existed.
No, because if someone were to put a gun to my head and say pick anti-Comicsgate or Comicsgate, I would choose Comicsgate. But that's not a choice you have to make.
No,
you're right. It's not a choice to make.
But a life or death choice.
If it was talking about politics, I'd probably lean closer to what people's political affiliation in Comicsgate, assuming that they are right wing. I do lean more conservative. I have more conservative values than I do liberal. I'm only a liberal when I have to start paying bills. That's when I'm like, oh man, I could really use some free money. But that's just my joke. But I mean I don't agree. But I don't agree with a lot of like I could make thousands of videos on Vita Ayala and how I think she's racist. I mean.
It really sounds like you could. Like you've really.
Oh, I could, but I could do it on all of them. I mean, I made a video about how I think Mags Visaggio, the best thing that she's come out with in terms of money making has been her GoFundMes.
I literally don't know who that is.
It's okay. She's a trans comic book creator who, yeah, but like, and so someone, people go,
have you read any of her work?
Yeah, I have. I tried to get her on my show too, but she said I was a bigot, so I was like, okay. She assumed that's wrong. She assumed I was a bigot. That's
you don't know if she consumed your media.
That's not fair to assume.
I mean, that's not an assumption. If she consumed your media and that's the image that she perceived, then.
But that's still assuming, because if you don't talk with the person face to face, you never know. I feel like we have more in common than we do our differences, and we should focus on our common.
Because you also, because I think the things that you're saying you don't necessarily believe to your core.
Like
I think
what?
I don't think you know what the gay agenda is, let alone what you're saying when you say that there's a gay agenda.
Oh, I just think that I think that there's people who are trying to indoctrinate and confuse my children. That's all.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that anyone would want to do that?
It's just, I don't mean, I'm not here to get into that. I'm not here to get into
I'm just
that.
saying, in terms of comic books, like, right? So like you think that turning Superman bi is somehow.
I think it's just pandering. I think it's poor. I think it's poor writing. I think it's terrible writing to go.
So writing.
It's going. I can't really think of anything. But what if they were gay?
Okay, so then question: do you think DC Mech is pandering?
Who? I don't know.
It's a new series that's coming out. It's a new universe. It's another reality based off the DC characters, where they all have mech suits.
No, they're just robots. There's one with dinosaurs too.
Right. Do you think that's pandering? Because that's just, hey, I don't know what else to write. So what if they're dinosaurs?
That's different than that's different than like a sexuality. That's different than a sexuality.
It's just a fictional character trait. What's the difference?
It's completely different when you're going
it's a fictional character trait.
Going, what if Batman was what if Batman was a dinosaur? It's not a huge diss. You just go, okay, yeah. What if he was a dinosaur? But because then you're not changing the core of the character. You're not changing the core of the character. You know, you have
Batman bi isn't changing the core of the character.
No. Well, okay. Let's say they didn't by the way, I think bi is the biggest cop out. Like if a DC person. If a DC person was like, yo, Tyler, we want you to write a comic book. What's your sexuality? I would say bi so quick. I'd be like, I'm bi. Because they won't take my astro gender fluid seriously. So I'd be like, I'm bi.
Interesting.
But let's say, but if they said Bruce Wayne is now gay, that's where I'd go, what about all those years of him being with women? Was he just closeted? Like,
yeah. Okay. They say, yeah. They say that's why none of his relationships worked. That's why he couldn't.
and then that's when I go
alter.
So then that's when I go, and then that's when I can go, I guess I'm not reading Batman anymore because that character doesn't fit me. And that's okay, right?
Why? The character's still the same. He's still a badass fucking ass kicker. He still fucking investigates and detectives and shit. He like.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. The problem though at that point then is, where does the story go? Because what we're seeing is it's not just the fact that there's feminist agenda and whatnot. It's just the writing is really bad. You have a Daredevil comic going where Daredevil, who's a lecturist, is going, hey, can you go over there and do something? And the girl who she's trying to help goes, yeah, I'll go over there. Oh, real quick, you misgendered me. And it's like, why is this in a comic? Why is this happening in a comic book? Daredevil says, yo, escape over there, person. And the person goes, okay, I'll go over there. But you misgendered me. Just keep that in mind, and then walks off. Like, that's poor writing. Like, that's just poor pandering, right? Like that, and that's the problem. That's what people are talking about. They're pulling these panels, and they're pulling these panels, and they're going, "This is so cringe." Like, it's cringe. Maybe that's a better word. It's just cringe, and it's cringe, and it's cringe. That's the best way to put it.
And I agree, but the creator of that, the writer of that, I don't know if they're trans, but or non-gender specific, but if they don't know that, if they're not fully familiar, this is what I'm saying. When I write shit that I am not fully lived experience, I am very careful, and I don't do anything outside of my fucking space, because if I don't know, I'm not going to write it. But if we just recently saw an example with What If Miles Morales was Thor, where someone who didn't know wrote a whole fucking comic book, and it went through all sorts of probably white editors, and no one caught the fact that this book was just front to back cringe. Just every stereotype you can fit in a single comic book, front to back. They had one line that I think would have been bars if it made sense in the comic.
If I make a bunch of videos on how crappy that book is, am I a bigot?
Tons of people have made,
and are they bigots though? And I monetize that video and I say, man, like
that's not bigotry. That's analyzing. That's media critique. Analyzing the writing and the structure and how it's written. It has nothing to do with him being black.
What if all of that? What if it was part of it? What if them being gay was a factor to the bad writing?
But how do you?
What if the feminism speech is a factor to the bad writing?
But it's one speech in a 22-page comic book. You're going to tell me a single speech in a comic book has ruined the entire comic book for you?
I'm just saying. If I say, man, that thing was crap because of that,
you could say, hey, this but this speech, dog shit. That's different. But if you
what if I say this feminist speech,
piece of garbage?
Yeah. What if I say, but that's
you're qualifying it based on that.
No, I'm detailing, analyzing it. It's not just the fact that it was a speech; it was a poor feminist speech.
See, again, without a fucking.
It wasn't just. I could pull it up.
It's just saying, like, it's not. It's critique based on something that isn't the critique that you're making. Like, if you say, "Oh, Superman, Son of Kal-El, is poorly written because he's gay," no. Like, you could say Superman, Son of Kal-El is poorly written because it changes directions too often, because it doesn't follow the storyline, because the dialogue doesn't really fit the tone of the story, vice versa. Like, there are lots of things to be said about a book that don't include the character sexuality.
Is it bigotry if I say the only reason why this book could hit a #1 spot is because they had to make the character gay? Is that bigotry? This book only sold because they made the character gay. That's it.
But if it's sold, then it defeats your other point.
Well, no. But I'm saying the only reason. But I'm saying the only reason why it sold is because they made him gay. That was the only reason. Is that big?
Can't know that. That's an opinion. You can think that that's the only reason.
And if I make a bunch of videos saying the only reason why John Kent Superman, the only reason why that #1 issue sold was because he was gay.
You're assuming a lot. I wouldn't say that that's bigotry. But again, if you were to say, I guess I really don't think myself a bigot very much. So I don't really know how you could phrase it.
I'm a bigot every day.
Well, that's a choice you make, I suppose.
I'm pro-choice.
But that's I'm not going to talk about that. If you just talk about this book, like, I
only sold because he was gay. If you say,
I think this book only sold this many numbers because they made the character gay, that's an opinion you can have. Sure, I don't think that's a bigoted opinion. I think that's just an opinion you can have.
And I make a video on it.
Just because I think that.
And I make a video on it, and then I get a bunch of subscribers, and I say, "Gosh, this comic only sold well because
if that's the only content you have, you're not going to get that many subscribers." But my point is, unless you go,
I'd beg to differ. Look at these. Like you said,
only thing you're saying, you're just talking about that one comic book.
But there's it's creating your narrative. It's creating your narrative. You can make like 10 videos on that, and then you find another, and you find another instance. You find another instance. You find another instance.
But if
you build a platform.
But then you are basing your platform off of hatred.
No, you're building your platform off of, because we said it wasn't bigotry. We're building our platform off of our opinions. Our opinions.
If all you're talking about is, I think X book sold because Y.
Which is an opinion.
That's an opinion. Then yeah,
then we're building our platforms.
If that's your only content,
we're building our platform based off of opinions.
Sure.
Not so when Eric July says that, I think that that's an opinion.
But that's not what he says.
It's an opinion.
That's not what he says.
It's just opinions.
It's not.
We can just have opinions.
Again, I watched him for quite a while. It's not opinions. He's a bigot. He's a bigot. He has brought up his platform and brought up his fan base solely on the fact that he shits on stuff. That's it. He buys
but shitting is an
books.
Opinion. Shitting on things is an opinion.
No. But look, he has no actual platform. He does not stand for actually anything. He buys shit to shit on it because he knows he's not going to like it because he's already talked shit about it beforehand, before it comes out. He knows he's not going to like it. He says it's going to be shit before he buys it. Then he buys it. Then he throws it on the ground, complains about the writing, complains about every single aspect of the book, even though it's an award-winning artist, an award-winning writer. So his opinion is, like you said,
an opinion.
Counterculture is, he's just negging. He's just negging. That's all he's doing. Whatever, it's what I did.
He's a critic. Would you say he's a critic? He's just a critic.
Yeah, that's his only thing. He's a critic, but then he bases it on specific criteria.
But that's what critics are supposed to do. They're supposed to base their things on.
No. A critic analyzes. A critic can have positive things to say.
You can have positive things. You can have positive things to say.
You can, but he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Like, he doesn't. What I'm saying is, I stopped watching him because it's all the same shit.
That's fair.
I hate feminists. I hate gay shit. It's just repetitive of the same shit. And like you said, he builds that platform, and that's what he keeps saying because that's what people want to see. Because they don't want to deal with their own shit, so they just would rather come sit in a room and watch the same shit they feel inside. And instead of trying to figure out why that's how they feel, they just want to hear someone say that that's okay.
Fair. One last question before we end this. I appreciate you taking 3 hours of your night, man. I don't know what time zone you're in. It's like 10:30 for me.
Oh, I'm Central.
I don't know what that.
It's coming up 11:30.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we'll end this soon. I've always felt that you can't be something unless you truly act on it. So like I make jokes about everyone. Like I said, I'm a full-time bigot. Like I don't care. I don't care who your mom is. I don't care what your race or sexuality is. I'll throw you under the bus. I'll make fun of you.
It sounds like you're coming from a place of insecurity.
Okay. Well, it's coming from a sense because I'm male, so like I'm better than people, so I want to make fun of them. No. No, I just like making fun of people. Like, don't you ever just look at someone and just go, "Oh man, you fucking fat fuck"? You ever do that?
No.
Do you ever look at someone and go, "I'm 100% confident they're lesbian"? Or do you ever go, "That guy's cheating on his girlfriend. He's got to be"? Do you ever do that?
No.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I'm busy. I got my own shit to deal with.
I know, I do too. I'm at lunch. I'm eating my double cheeseburger because I'm a fat ass, and I look over at another fat ass. I go, "Man, look at that fat ass." You ever do that?
I mean, like,
don't be scared to get canceled because I know white people are scared about getting canceled. Don't be scared. You can. It's okay to say that you do it.
No, I stand behind everything I say because I believe in it. If I said some shit that was ignorant in the past, that's just because I didn't know better yet.
Fair.
I argued about certain dumb shit that I don't say anymore up until like a year and a half ago. Like I thought I had the ability to say certain shit in certain contexts, and
you don't.
Somebody pointed it out, and I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
You can't say it. How come? Like what? Like what? Like I can say anything. I say anything I want.
I mean, that's an opinion, but I don't think there's I don't think there's anything wrong with making jokes. I think jokes are funny. I watch.
Can I make jokes at the expense of someone's race and sexuality?
If it is in the spirit of a joke, yeah. I think you can make jokes for the sake of laughter, not for the sake of harming someone. Not for
fair.
Like, because there's a lot of fat jokes that I think are fucking hilarious, but I've also seen people hurtfully make fat jokes at people. I lived through it as a child, so like it's different. You know what I mean? Like there is a different intent.
That's called bullying, though.
I think right, and that's the difference. I think jokes made to attack someone in any fashion is bullying, and that's.
Would you say that groups like Comic Skate are bigots and racists?
That's entirely too large of a group of people for me to make that determination.
That's a good answer.
I've
always thought that
I make my determinations based on individual actions.
I love that. I agree. I agree 100%. That's why I never, if someone goes Comic Skate's a hate group, I go, well, I mean, I know a lot of pretty cool people in there. Now I think
it's something that people have flocked to because it feeds a certain thing that they need and a certain thing that they don't feel is met elsewhere. I don't
counterculture.
I don't necessarily feel that. From my perspective, I don't really think Comicsgate does a good job fulfilling those needs. I think there are plenty of people who make great comics who don't affiliate with that and don't really, in some cases, don't even take a stance on it one way or the other. I think there are people who just make comics and just make cool comics. And yeah, sometimes make shitty comics, but they're dope people. Like there is so much more out there than having to choose this side. It's like people who are like Marvel or DC, which one's better? Who fucking cares? I read what I want. I like certain shit. I don't like certain shit. Like I didn't like fucking Animal Man until New 52. Then I fucking loved Animal Man. That run was fantastic.
Would you say? But there is this thing where if you don't agree with you, if you go, man, like I just don't like. Let's say like someone's like, I really just don't like that John Kent's gay. That bothers me. Is that bigotry?
Just saying that?
Yeah.
Like stating that opinion?
Yeah.
I would probably tell them that, you know what, that's probably something you should figure out. Like why you don't like that. Like why does it bother you? It's not my place to fucking tell you why. It's not my place to tell you that it shouldn't bother you. I just think people need to figure out why certain shit bothers them. Fair. I think that we as a country especially, but we as a species need to do a lot more internalized work because we resort to a lot of defensive shit a lot of fucking time and we don't know why. Like
I think the country will get better once we start getting back to reality and truth. And you know, there's a lot of people out there with mental illness and, you know, we're catering a lot to people and, you know, and let's standing by them. We go, listen, there's right, there's wrong.
This sounds like you're just going a certain way about this right now.
No.
Like what does that have to do with like what does?
Because when like look at us for the definition of racism. The fact that you and I can't agree on what the definition of racism is, like that's a problem.
No, we don't disagree on the definition of racism. The textbook definition of racism is the textbook definition of racism. Discriminating someone based off of the color of their skin.
Yes. Okay, we agree on that.
That is the textbook definition of racism.
But you said that like white people can't be racist.
No. People can't be racist against white people because white people run this fucking country.
But that's not in the definition.
Because again, I have accepted. Again, I used to have that exact same argument, and I fought against this way of thinking for a long time. But words change. The meaning of words change.
Why?
And now, because that's the nature of language.
Why can't, but like with something like, so basically, it's just, but at that point, you are alienating a group of people.
What group of people?
White people. And isn't that going?
But it's not alienating them.
Yeah, you're saying, yeah, it's not racist to hate you. To hate white people because of your color of your skin. That's racist.
No, it
is racist. If I say if you go, Tyler, how come you don't like me? And I go, Dalibor, I hate you because you're white. That's racist.
No, but you know what? I could understand it.
If I know nothing about you and I go, you know what? I just hate you because you're white. I just don't like you because you're white.
Do you? I mean, it's an internalized thing, right? If you haven't worked through it, so if you may not realize why. I have thought about it, and
you're like, do you look in the mirror and go, "It's okay that people hate me. I deserve this."
I can understand someone who is not white coming up to me and being distrustful of me, not being sure about my intentions, completely understand. Completely understand.
Can I do the same thing about a black person? Can I go?
Why do you feel that way?
Why do you feel the same? Why do you feel that way about a white person?
Because white people have made a lot of fucking problems in this country.
Because black people do the majority of the crime in the country. So I can do the same thing.
Oh boy, yeah. I do not want to go down that path.
I don't want to, but I'm just saying, to me,
it's actually incorrect.
Okay.
Factually incorrect.
Okay.
That you're parroting some Fox News bullshit that they spread
I don't watch
ago.
I don't watch
the news. No. They spread it a long time ago, and then it just became this fucking virus.
I don't watch the news.
My point is shit they invented.
My point is you and I can't even agree on what racism is, and so that's what I'm saying. Until we can get back to definitions, truth, facts,
but
we can never find common ground.
But that's not how society works. That's not how society works. Society doesn't work on textbook definitions of anything. Because if it did, we would have been shut down for 2 weeks in 2020, and everyone would have wore their masks for 4 more fucking weeks, and we wouldn't have to deal with COVID. Because science said one thing, but a shit ton of people said, nah, I don't think so. It's not about the truth in a written book.
The truth of what? COVID?
Science.
Science
is a factual thing. Science is something that is learned and proven through scientific processes that have been proven through centuries of fucking refinement. Science is a fact.
Science says that there's chromosomes that make you a male or a female. 2 genders.
Science also says that you can be born with both or neither.
1%. We're talking about people who are less than 1%.
What percentage it is?
Why do 99% of the people have to be why does 1% of the people have to
how many percent people have wheelchairs? Yet we still put up ramps, don't we?
Well, it's different though.
No, it's not.
It's a little different because they can't get up the stairs, man.
Right.
Someone who's not a gender can get up the stairs. They can get up the stairs.
They can't get health care.
They can get up the stairs though.
It's a different.
What do you mean they can't get health?
Like, I don't know if you're just trying to make a joke at this point, but
I'm half joking all the time. I'm always joking.
Well, okay, so I mean that's probably something you should work on.
I'm always joking, I'm always laughing, and
so the point is, one accommodation is the same as another. You make an accommodation for one group of people because they are unable to do certain things or unable to achieve certain things because of a physical disability. Why can't we do the same for someone
with a mental?
No,
it's mental. It's in their head. I didn't say disability. I said mental. I didn't say disability.
Sure.
Whoa, that got close.
What?
That got close.
For a state of for a mental state. There you go. You want to go that way. You want to make it simpler for yourself for a mental state.
I mean, I was going to say
because we do all the time. Because people who have PTSD get accommodated because they can't work near loud noises.
They're not. Yeah, but their shit's not being put into my kid's school though. They're not my first grader isn't going. There's these elderly people, and they got PTSD.
No.
They're not having
they stop serving peanut butter and tell you can't send your kid to school with peanut butter because some kids are allergic to peanut butter. Probably less than 1%.
Dude,
really.
I had peanut butter my whole life at school. I don't know.
Your whole life, but you can't send your kid to school with peanut butter. Probably.
I don't know.
If you're in a public school, I don't know.
I think you can. I think you can.
But my point is, in some places, that is an accommodation they make. Hey, but we got some kids in the school that are allergic to peanut butter. We can't have kids bringing peanut butter to school because they might fucking die.
And we all agree with that. And then we all come in. We all agree with that.
Do we though?
But my point was just saying that we can't even the fact that we can't agree on certain definitions. That's the point.
But it's not about definitions.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the racism thing. So you, Dalibor, are going to go over to the people who agree with your definitions, and I'm going to go over to the people who agree with my definitions. And then if yours is mainstream definitions, mine's going to be counterculture definition. And that's those two are okay.
Just to not be.
And those are okay, right?
No, but why does your group, this hypothetical group, have to have non-mainstream definitions.
Why does your definition have to change? Like why can't
why the nature of language
that's but that's the point. It's
like one of your chat people said earlier, it's about the etymology, right? The reason etymology exists is because the meaning of words have changed and words have evolved over time. It's literally what etymology is.
Bancroft, how you doing, man? You're in Australia. It says our definition is mainstream.
I don't know who R is, so
oh wait, what?
I don't know who R is. It's like someone like that's just an individual who just said our definition is mainstream.
I think it's saying that like the majority of people would agree that like if a black person would have punched a white person because they're white, you'd be like they're what's it called? Race. It's racist.
They're a person who assaulted someone. I don't know why they punched them.
And but I'm saying when they assault hypothetically and they go, "I hate you because you're white," like that's racism.
You know, most people don't do that, right? You know that most people don't just.
I saw a video of them doing it, so I was like, "Oh my!" You
saw the end of a video.
It still happened. I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" Like that's
right, but you don't know the
racist.
Context.
Well, I agree. I could use the context. We should look it up real quick.
Like it's because context matters. Context very much matters. Because we've had several situations in recent times where context really changed things.
Oh, I agree. Let's see. Gotta find the right one. It's just so. Oh, here we go. Brutal attack. There we go. Okay. Las Vegas Uber driver recovering from brutal attack after being assaulted by our passengers. It was horrible. I never in my life felt so terrified. It all started when Partridge, that's a white lady, said a group of girls ordered an Uber XL for pickup, and Uber XL holds 6 passengers, but Partridge counted 7 after the girls already got into her car. I turned around and I said, "Girls, I am sorry. I cannot drive a 7-people ride." And they said, "Why?" And I said, "Because it is against the law." The girls proceed to stay in the car. The doors are automatic, so they shut the door, and then I opened the door. They again shut the door. I again opened the door. They again shut the door, so it was back and forth like 3 times. Then after Partridge realized they weren't going to get out of the car, she decided to go through with the ride. I hear them whispering to each other, blah, blah, blah. When arriving to drop off the group of girls, Partridge said the attack began. The woman in the front seat, when they started getting out, she splashed a drink in my face and then started beating me up. Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Sounds like, based on the context that you just read, that this had nothing to do with race. It had to do with the fact that they didn't get what they wanted.
Fair.
They weren't about. This
That's
person
fair.
was trying to.
I can apologize and say I was wrong about the news.
Man, it's all about the fucking.
But let's say they did punch her and go like, "It's because we hate you because you're white." What about that?
If it was completely unprovoked, that's pretty fucked up. That's
and
pretty
racist.
fucked up.
And racist.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because that sounds like a mental health issue.
I don't take mental health seriously. We don't take mental health seriously in this country, so I don't take it either. I don't take it seriously either.
Interesting perspective. Yeah, but no, I mean we certainly don't, because a lot of the time when it's a gun problem, it turns into a mental health problem. You know, when it's a white dude.
Hey, I'm with you on that, dude. I'll hold your hand with that as well.
No, it's because that's gonna be the defense I use. So, if something like that were to happen, I would say it sounds like a mental health issue. We need to fund mental health.
Fair dues. Well, hey, Dalibor, we had a good discussion. I don't think we agree on anything. Well, we agreed on some things, so that's all that matters. So we can kumbaya on some things, right? And we just, and that's okay, right? You and I can disagree on things, and we can agree to disagree. That's okay, right? Is that okay?
In some cases, yeah.
What cases is it not okay for us to agree to disagree?
You can't disagree that climate change is real.
I can agree to disagree on it because I don't know much about it.
Because it's scientific fact. 300 plus people just died in Spain.
300.
300, because it's 100. Would they say 129 degrees?
But we can agree to disagree on like some things, though.
Trivial things, sure. Trivial things we can agree to disagree on, because trivial things are trivial. But scientific facts.
But like you and I have different scientific facts, though.
No, that sounds like I have science and you have alternative facts.
Because you have, but that's not fair. Because you say COVID, you say we should take COVID seriously, and I say, well,
because guess what? In the places where they did, they beat it pretty quick.
And then I say, well, COVID, like you have like a 99% like survival rate as long as you have like.
Okay. So you're just one of those people that thinks that 1.7 million people dead is fine, just fine.
Dude, if anything, man, like I've been asking for
now on a practicality, like on a real, not on a humanity is awful. Like I get that. I
was hoping for a better plague than COVID. Like there's still traffic.
The point is
there's still traffic.
The point is that's a scientific fact, and a lot of people still fought against it, and then people fought against masks, and then so for 2.5 years people fucking were like my body my choice, and then now it's not my body my choice anymore if you're a woman. So
that's
pretty fucked up.
But then then we can't define what a woman is, and then we, it's just definition. We all have different definitions.
A person who can give birth. How about that?
They won't agree with you on that.
No. I'm not defining that as a woman. I'm just saying this affects people who can give birth.
Oh, see, and I don't agree with that definition. I think it's women. I think women are the only ones who can give birth. And see, we just disagree on definitions, and we can agree to disagree.
Well, I don't know. Like, if I told you my name was Steve, would you call me Steve? If I said my name is Steve, you would call me Steve, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
but if
I told you my name was Stephanie, wouldn't you call me Stephanie?
I call you Stephanie, and then when I get home, I go, yo, I saw Stephanie. And that is like a Stephanie.
And guess what? I don't give a shit what you do when you're home. As long as when you're in my face, you respect me.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not going to impose certain things on me, like if a transgender person would be, I respect everyone, and if someone would go, I should blah blah blah, I'd be like, yeah, well, I would have some moments like I can respect you.
At the end of the day, if it doesn't affect you personally or yours, what the fuck does it matter?
Oh man, but it could affect my wife, my future daughter, my daughter.
Okay, so what you're saying is that we should teach people about gender in school, because then it could affect future
children. Men, just the two genders. But we can agree to disagree, though, right?
Yeah, like I said, this like half joking thing.
But we can agree. But we can agree to disagree.
Not on that.
Well, that's okay. But we can. Okay, how about this? We can still
I said, trivial shit.
But we can be acquaintances and agree to disagree on big shit, right?
No.
Really?
No, not on that big shit.
You don't think so?
Because I believe in human rights, and if you don't believe in human rights, that's a different problem.
I believe in human rights.
Okay, so if it doesn't affect you personally,
I'm pro human rights.
Okay, so
I'm pro women rights. I'm like the best.
But then you want to define what all those things mean.
To me, science defines what those things mean.
Yeah, and science says that people can be born all sorts of ways.
But we can agree to disagree on that, right?
No, we can't, because again, you just said science defines how people are born. So
how about this? Just so the gender thing, I just look at you and go, you look like a double X chromosome. How's that? Is that rude? If I go to a transgender someone, they go, I'm a girl. I go, you look like you look like you got a Y chromosome. Is that okay?
That'd be incredibly rude. Yeah, that'd be incredibly
But that's science.
But we don't talk in public, in person, as science. And again, really, it is really difficult to speak to you on a serious subject when you are coming at it from this
but I am being serious, though. I am being serious. I'm actually I am 100% authentic right now.
Right. So, but you don't actually believe that, do you? Do you think that would be okay to come up to someone and speak on their genetic makeup?
I'd just be like, yo, are you a girl or boy? I mean, I just go, you girl.
Hi, I'm Tyler. How would you like to be addressed? That's it. That's
my
it.
phone.
And whatever they say, that's how you address them. Because that's
for sure. If you go, hey, my name's Stephanie, I go, hey, what's up, Stephanie? How you doing? And then if you go, yeah, I'm a woman, I go, okay. Now, do I have to believe it though?
I don't give a shit what you believe.
But can I?
It's
But do
about respecting people.
okay. But do I have? Can I go home and go? My wife go. How was Stephanie? I was like, oh yeah, Stephanie was fine. Stephanie's totally a dude. Do I like? Does that make me a bigot? Because I take it home.
I'm sure people have said lots worse shit about me as a dude when they go home, let alone if I was not a dude.
What if Stephanie goes, "Hey Tyler, I believe that like I can go, Stephanie, oh yeah, you're a woman, and then Stephanie goes, by the way, I think that women are this, and it's a definition that I don't believe in.
And
is it wrong for me to go, Steph?
That's a conversation you can get into, and that's
I gotta find a Stephanie. I gotta find a Stephanie then.
That's a conversation you can get into. I'm just saying, like, you and I can have different definitions about shit, but that doesn't mean that I have to agree with your definition.
But we can, yeah, and what I'm saying is, like, for these like bigger issues, we can agree to disagree and still be like, yo, like I fuck with Dalibor, even though he doesn't agree with I fuck with Dalibor in his comics, like, even though we
as long as it's respect, as long as I don't see that you are hating on people for who they are and how they are, like, if you're not hating on groups of people for no fucking reason, like, I got.
What if I have a reason though?
What would the reason be? There's no reason to hate on a group of people based on their gender, based on their sexual identity, based on anything.
What about their
based
race?
On anything physical,
what about their race though?
Based on anything physical or mental.
What? So we can't. It's okay. Their race though.
Like opinions. That's physical. Race,
except white people though.
Ethnicity is.
Except white people though. They're fair game.
No, that's still fucking bigotry. That's still prejudice. There's no fucking reason. So just like be like out like.
But they have power. I'm gonna make a whole. I have to like they have power, so I have to like call them out.
Speaking truth to power is definitely a platform you could build.
And so I can be like, yo, I fucking hate white people.
Truth to power.
I fucking hate white people, and then I can.
But if you have reasons.
If I have legit reasons,
if they're legitimate reasons of
fucking white people, and they're just white, and then I make a platform, and then I make $1 million on my campaign. Is that okay?
See again,
is that?
It's like you're the half joking thing.
No. Is that? I'm asking. Is that okay? If I build a platform because I'm not being racist.
That's hate.
That's hate on white, but
if you can't just saying I hate them just because they're fucking white. No, but if you're talking about people in power preventing people from moving up the ladder, preventing like, there are things to be said on the subject. Is what you're
right. And then so I build my whole platform on that, and then I'm constantly just dunking on white people, and then I build a platform, and then I make a comment.
Do you see the difference though?
I don't.
Okay, so the difference is
if you dunk on white people
people are
deserve it.
Kind of.
They deserve all the bad things. I know, all fairness, I'm white and terrible. I agree, CG Metal Smith, you fucking suck.
White people are the cause of most bad shit in this country. Historically. It just is what it is. There's nothing
I think white women are.
I think white women recently, but white men definitely had a leg up for a couple hundred years. So
sounds good.
I like I said, I think there are things to be said there, but the difference is white people are in power and talking about the gay agenda, talking about the gay agenda, people who may not even be able to marry the people they love, if the current Supreme Court does what they fucking are trying to do, those people are not in power.
One last question
for basic human rights.
What about transabled people?
What?
Transabled people?
I do not know what that means.
They're up and coming. I'm like hip. I know all these groups. And they're people who they identify as disabled. So it'd be like me, and I can use my legs, and they're like, the person's like, oh, I'm trans disabled, so I have to be in a wheelchair. Stuff like that.
Those are crazy people.
Whoa, that's bigotry.
Because that's just factually incorrect.
That's bigotry. Because that mentally they think that they are. Should they be treated? Should we treat those people, the transabled? Should we find a cure for them?
I don't know. I don't know what the problem is.
They think that they're disabled.
Like I don't like.
It's like me walking. Like I got lit.
No, I understand what you're saying, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is I don't know what the reason is that they think that. So I don't know if they should be treated. I don't.
But
know
they identify on it, so they identify.
No, because I can't identify as not white.
No. I identify as astrogender fluid.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Well, dude, I appreciate this. I do think that there were like 10 moments where we did agree on stuff, which was good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there we have some stuff that we agree on, and I think that it is important for people to understand what other groups think. There's just
now we're gonna leave. Now we're gonna leave. You're not gonna separate, and I'm gonna end my night. I'm gonna go eat an ice cream cone and go to sleep, and I'm not gonna change.
Jealous.
Huh?
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, and I'm gonna.
Ice cream cone.
And I'm gonna go to sleep with the same beliefs that I have.
Sure.
Does that make me a bigot or anything? Because I heard your point of view and I go, well, I think that's freaking wrong. Does that make me a bigot?
Not changing your beliefs off of one person's explanations or perspective?
I think
No,
if
I don't think
1,000 people, I think if there was 1,000 of you, Dalibor, I would still go, nah.
Yeah, but I'm not like the best spokesperson for any of these points. I'm just
You are
coming at it
white.
from
You are white.
no, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying
Oh.
I'm just like I said before, I'm very much a service level person. Like I fought for years to say a thing that I now understand definitely should not have been saying. And now I go out of my way.
Dude,
to
can
not
you
say it.
totally tell me what it was?
It was the N-word. It was the N-word. I felt that within songs I had the ability to say it, and I had the ability to say it with the A ending and all this other shit. And someone explained I think his name is the Jolly Good Ginger, good dude, very intelligent. Explained the reason that there is an A ending is because of AAVE, and that it's actually the same word. It's just pronounced differently in AAVE. And I was like, oh, fuck me. Oh, cool. All right. And that literally a perfectly clean and a solid explanation of why. And it wasn't for me. It was just a video that I found. And I was like, well, fuck me.
What if your black friend says you can say it, though?
Doesn't matter.
But your black friend says you can say it.
Irrelevant to me. Because nobody else gets to tell me how I talk.
Fair. What if my black friend says I can say it around him? Is that okay?
I don't give a fuck.
There we go.
I have nothing to say about that.
Dreaded Dinosaur $4.99. Check out all the diverse characters in Dinosaur Man on Webtoon. New episode dropping August 1st. That's Eric. Crap, Eric. I'm
Not a big fan of Webtoons. Not a big fan of that.
Dude, there's tons of gay shit on Webtoons.
There's tons of all sorts of shit on Webtoons.
But there's like
and Tapas and all this other like there's tons of platforms. That's why I'm sad. That's why like you said Amazon. Like, yeah, I'll get it on Amazon because I don't want to read it on, was it G Comics or whatever?
Global Comics. You should. It's if you're a comic book creator, you should get your stuff on there.
Yeah, but it's like a subscription thing per page. I don't know. I don't really.
You can. I've gotten paid from them. I get paid from them.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm not saying there's not money there. I just personally, as a consumer, don't like. I mean, if people are buying stuff there, then yeah, I think everyone that wants to make money should be on there.
Yeah, no, I'm saying you as a creator should put your stuff on there. Yeah, I'm not saying you as a consumer. You as a creator.
I just don't fuck with the platform from a consumer's perspective. But
Andrew Rollin for $4.99. Dalibor be like, their bigotry is bad, but my bigotry is good. Dalibor, I will let you respond to Andrew.
How am I bigoted? How am I being bigoted? Who am I?
I think you're being bigoted towards white people. Because you said that you can't be racist to white people.
Pretty sure white people can't be bigoted to white people. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you can, dude. So Brian's N-word passes
it's possible, I suppose.
So Brian Ball's N-word passes are useless. Yeah, if you paid him $10 on his website to buy a black card, you got robbed. Sorry, Ethereal Dragon. I'll hit him up later.
I mean, I can't speak for you and how you wish to go through life. That's just how I went through my process.
That's fair. All right, well, Dalibor, dude, it was a pleasure. And hey,
you said my name 43 times in this entire podcast. Not once have you said it correctly. It's Dalibor.
Dalibor.
I don't know why. This is an American thing. Ever since I got to this country.
But I'm Asian.
but you're
I'm just
American,
messing with-
motherfucker.
I'm just messing with you.
But most Americans always convert the O to a A. I don't know why. Like it's said as it's written. It really is. just
I
don't understand
think
why
it's
put it-
I think it's because we've been indoctrinated by that. By by the white people, and so we go, I'll fight for you on that one.
Appreciate it.
Tell us where people can you're a comic book creator. Tell us what you're working on, where people can find your stuff.
I'm working on a series called Wolfpack. I finished my first little prequel novella through my magazine, thecatalyst.digital. It's a free magazine. People can get it in their inbox. It's a quarterly magazine. I'm actually working on this month's issue currently. I share people's books. I share people's links. It comes as a PDF to you once every quarter, and you can, if you like some shit, you can click straight to people's socials.
How do you get it? Is there a website? What's the website?
Thecatalyst.digital.
The Catalyst.
I think I'm on issue 9. I think that's the issue I'm working on currently. I started it just as a way to promote people, and also as a way for me to get some of my own writing done. And that was the last cover that we had there.
There you guys go, guys. Thecatalyst.digital.
So we featured a bunch of different people, and it's been quite a ride. I like doing the magazine. It's cool. I kind of wanted to take the best things that were Wizard magazine and what Heavy Metal does, smash them together. So I've got, I usually do like the first issue or the first chapter of someone's book, do a little interview with them. We also do a tips and tricks section from indie creators. So it's a fun little ride.
Dope. Well, dude, I appreciate you spending 3.5 hours with me. I'm glad that we can.
Podcasting is, man.
Huh?
That's what podcasting is. Dedicated.
We can leave. We can leave with agreeing to disagreeing, and I think we're both civil.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the kind of conversations that need to happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be to change anyone's mind. But just
what if I ended it? What if I was like, have you used StreamYard before?
I have not.
Like this platform. What if I was like, because like we're congratulating each other right now. I was like, yeah, but you're wrong, and then I kicked you.
I mean, hey, it's I'm on your show. I'm on your show.
No, I know.
Go on my show, but
no, I appreciate that. I am gonna kick you. I'm gonna do it nicely, but I appreciate it. You have a good rest of your night, and I enjoyed this. So I respect you. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
You as well.
Peace.
So that's that. I actually will be going into a bit of a deeper dive in some of the topics, some of the things that I talked about, some of the things that they brought up. I want to kind of do a deeper dive into this. It's in my opinion, never the best to have just your initial thoughts on stuff until you kind of analyze the entire situation. So there's going to be a couple other videos on this podcast as well as on the Tangents podcast, because I think some of those things are not necessarily related to comic books. But more stuff will be coming in these veins. But that's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you in the next one.